Konoha. Hinata went to catch the thief, but I caught him. Chapter 1. Hyuga Hinata, full of fantasy about the future. Ninja World. At the border of the country of tea, the four of them were walking cautiously along the forest path. Hey. Let me tell you, be honest, don't make any crooked ideas. The boy's face was painted with a red upside-down triangle pattern, and he tightened the rope in his hand. This red triangular face pattern is the unique logo of the Konoha village Inuzuka family. The little white dog lying on the boy's head barked following the boy's voice. The boy with canine teeth is Inuzuka Iba of Konoha village. I didn't expect to be caught by your Konoha village ninjas. Slight anger flashed across the face of the bound man, and he gave Inuzuka a dissatisfied look. HMPH. It's just a mere thief. In fact, you don't need Teacher Hong to follow. The three of us can subdue you. Right, Hinata, Shino. Hyuga Hinata nodded slightly with a shy face. This was the first mission of their 8th team. Although they only caught a thief, Hinata was very satisfied with the joy of success. However, unlike Hinata, Aburame Shino, who was shy with sunglasses in his pockets, didn't give Inuzuka tooth face. Yeah, no matter what, the other party is also a bounty criminal with a bounty of 3 million taels. If Teacher Hong didn't follow and guide us, we might not be able to find his hiding place. 3-on-1, we can indeed defeat him very easily, but please don't be proud. If you have to say the reason, it's just because he is not a real ninja. Shino's chatter immediately made Inuzuka a little discouraged. This teammate's tone of voice is always a bit unacceptable. HMPH, anyway, this mission is a perfect one. Inuzuka Ya's words made Yuhi Kuren, who followed behind them, laugh coquettishly. The results of this mission really made Yuhi Hong very satisfied. The task of catching the thief's 5-inch nail is a C-level task. It's really not that difficult. Generally speaking, C-level missions are generally not participated by ninjas from regular ninja villages. Even 5-inch nails can do some small ninjutsu, but unfortunately the overall strength can't be compared with regular ninjas like them. Not to mention, the 8th class of Yuhi Hong Tao are all descendants of well-known families in Konoha village. Tooth, you can't just talk big. Our purpose is to bring the thief's 5-inch nail to the country of tea and hand it over to the daimyo of the country of tea. Although we have already entered the territory of the country of tea, but we haven't handed over the person to the daimyo, the mission is not over yet. Yuhi Hong pretends to preach. This was the first mission for their 8th class to go out. It would not be a good thing for them in the future if they were left with such arrogance and complacency. Preaching belongs to preaching, but Yuhi Hong is not worried about any problems at all. The 5-inch nails were captured from the country of stone, and there was no problem all the way to the country of tea. Could there be an accident during delivery? What's more, 5-inch nails was rewarded for stealing the teapot of the famous tea country. Will there be companions to rescue the mere thief? Of course, in Shiha Hong's heart, she didn't care about Wu-inch nail's companion at all. Even if he had a companion, how powerful would a thief's companion be? Okay, let's hurry up and hand over this little thief to the tea country daimyo, and then find a place to soak in a hot spring. Akamaru, are you also looking forward to soaking in the hot spring? Inuzuka interacted friendly with the little white dog on his head. Hinata silently walked beside him and had fun. I finally don't have to do those D-level tasks from the village anymore. Hinata sighed in his heart. Those days of looking for cats and dogs, and plowing the fields were finally over. This time I was able to complete the task perfectly out of the village, and I think I should be able to say that I have become a real ninja. In this way, I will definitely become a better ninja in the future. By that time, it must be recognized by everyone. Just when Hinata was looking forward to a bright future, Shino's words reached her ears. Wait a minute. There seems to be a situation ahead. Hearing the sound, Hinata raised his head and looked into the distance, and indeed found a figure slowly appearing in their line of sight. With a long knife hanging from his waist, the man was walking towards them swaggeringly. As the Jonin of Konoha village, Kuroyuki became subconsciously vigilant. Could it be that someone will really come to rescue 5-inch nails? This kind of boring thought just flashed through my mind. Yu Hahong dismissed it, and smiled self-deprecatingly. Impossible, the ninja world is so big, it still happens often to meet a few wandering swordsmen on the road. Hey, is it because you are too nervous to take them out on a mission for the first time? Chapter 2. Wandering Swordsman, White Yaksha. Yu Hahong gave her a look, and the 3 members of the 8th class immediately understood. The completion of the task is just around the corner, so you can't lose the chain at such a critical moment. Everyone held their breath, and their expressions became solemn and vigilant. But just when they were about to pass by the wandering swordsman who appeared in front of them, there was a sudden change, but the man stopped when he was about 10 meters away from everyone. See. In an instant, Shi Hahong came in front of several people and stopped the 3 of them. Teacher Hong. Hinata was slightly taken aback. She didn't seem to understand Yu Hahong's behavior. Obviously the other party just stopped not far from them. Why did Yu Hahong stop the team's progress? Could it be that the target of the other party is them? That guy seems to want to use a knife. Yu Hahong spoke a sentence to several people in a simple and clear manner. Just now, she has been focusing all her attention on the visitor. Indeed, when he saw the opponent stop, his fingers were already on the hilt of the sword. Once a few people pass by that person's side, they are likely to be attacked by the other party. Teacher Hong, are you overly vigilant? Even if the opponent is targeting us and wants to hijack 5-inch nails, he is just a wandering swordsman. He must not belong to our opponent. Inuzuka teeth full of confidence. Of course, his confidence is not blind. First of all, they are all regular ninjas from Konoha village. Yu Hahong is also an excellent jonin from Konoha village, and she is very good at illusion. Furthermore, no matter how you look at it, the other party is just a wandering swordsman. And still very young. Look at that appearance, they are only 3 or 4 years older than them. Can such a young swordsman still defeat Kurenai Yuhi? Kurenai Yuhi didn't answer Inuzuka Kiba's words. At this moment, she felt an indescribable sense of tension in her heart. This emotion is very inexplicable and incomprehensible. Yu Hahong always felt that something was wrong. She seemed to have seen the black-haired boy with a knife in front of her somewhere. But, I just can't remember where I've seen it. Just when Yu Hahong was puzzled, there was a sound of swallowing saliva behind her. There was a pop. Yu Hahong turned her head violently, only to find that the 5-inch nails who had been a little arrogant before had collapsed to the ground. You. Aren't you ninjas going to die to complete the mission? Wukan Nail's eyes were full of fear, and his ugly face was even more frightened and distorted. Help me, save me, save me. In the panic, Wukanale's snot and tears flowed down on Inuzuka Ya's leg. This scene made the 4 of them feel even more weird. Hey, it's so dirty, what are you doing? Don't touch the snot on my pants. Do you want to pretend to be acting to escape? Wait a minute, what is going on here? Isn't the other party your companion? Inuzuka kicked the 5-inch nail aside, and looked suspiciously at the 5-inch nail lying on the ground. He came to kill me. I'm not worried that you will hand me over to the daimyo of the country of tea. 5-inch nails worked hard to organize the language. It seemed to him that his time was running out. Even if you hand me over to the daimyo of the country of tea, I will stay in prison at most. But if I fall into that man's hands, I will die. Konoha village is the most powerful ninja village in the 5 major countries. You must safely hand me over to the daimyo of the country of tea. Hearing this, the young man chuckled lightly. Hi. Are you so afraid of death? 5-inch nails. Everyone looked up, only to see that the young man had drawn out the long knife at his waist. When Wukanale saw this, he was frightened by Poyon, and his face was covered with bead-sized beads of sweat. Hidao, it's him. It's him. Help me, save me, save me. Black knife. Black hair. Dressed in white. Definitely very familiar. Yu Hahong was sure, she had definitely seen the person in front of her from somewhere. But why such important information, she has forgotten. Who is he? Shi Raihong yelled at 5-inch nails. Unexpectedly, The thief was still arrogant when faced with the arrest of the four of them. After seeing the boy with the black knife in front of him, his legs went limp from fright, and he looked like he was about to pee his pants. Sue. Sue Bai. 5-inch nail mustered up the last courage and answered Yu Hahong's question. Sue Bai. Yu Hahong was taken aback when she heard the words. After a few breaths, she saw that she also looked a little flustered. His pupils trembled slightly, and he gritted his white teeth lightly. Could it be White Yasha? Chapter 3. Sue Bai with a bounty of 300 million. Sue Bai. White Yasha. What's going on? Inuzuka Tooth is completely confused about the current situation. Is the person here called Sue Bai or Bai Yasha? With doubts, he looked at Shino and Hinata. Hey, who is he? Tooth, don't ask these boring questions for now. Concentrate quickly and ask why. Shino's voice was interrupted. He didn't want to talk about what happened next. From the moment Kurenai Yuhi yelled the word Shirayasha in horror just now, Shino knew that the guy in front of him seemed not that easy to deal with. Yu Hahong interrupted Jinao's thoughts, and continued to add, you guys take the 5-inch nails and leave this place quickly. I'll hold him back. You guys should meet the daimyo of the country of tea early and complete the task, just like what 5-inch nails said. The task that we at Konoha village will definitely complete with all our might. This is ninja. Yu Hahong is well aware of the importance of this mission. Even though it was just a C-level task, it involved the daimyo of the country of tea. This has a great impact on the reputation of Konoha village. However, no one could have imagined that an accident occurred halfway. And you have to face people of this level. Hey, Teacher Hong, what's going on? Inuzuka Tooth really became more and more confused the more he listened. The opponent is just a wandering swordsman, is it so scary? Yu Hahong shook her head. Whether Sue Bai is scary or not, she really doesn't know very well. I don't know the opponent's strength. Kuroyuki paused, then sighed. His name is Sue Bai, and he is also a wanted criminal in the ninja world. Teacher Hong, what is it? Hyuga Hinata has never seen such a nervous Kurenai Yuhi, and when she said this, Hinata turned pale with fright. It's just that his bounty is too high, reaching 300 million. 300 million. When the three of them heard this, they were all shocked. Why is his bounty so high? Isn't he just a wandering swordsman? Inuzuka Tooth clearly felt Akamaru's trembling. This is a very bad signal. It was also the first time Inuzuka had seen something that could make Akamaru tremble like this. Shi Hahong looked at Sue Bai on the opposite side vigilantly, for fear that the other party would make some moves. After hearing Inuzuka Ya's question, she adjusted her breath and said slowly, Sue Bai once destroyed a small country by himself. After being wanted by the ninja world, he has been unable to trace his footprints. Afterwards, every time he appeared, he was chasing and killing wanted criminals with bounties like 5-inch nails. Because his name is rather strange, people in the black market like to call him White Yasha. Yu Hahong finally remembered where she met Sue Bai. It was at the beginning that I was curious about Asuma's reward, and I found it from the reward book. She had teased Asuma back then, and the bounty offered was not as good as a young wandering swordsman. He even said wildly that when he saw Sue Bai, he must be subdued and exchanged for the 300 million bounty. Really evil. Yes, that's how it is. He must have come to kill me. He must have offered a reward. 5-inch nail has a crying voice, and doesn't care about his image in the eyes of others. However, when he remembered that Sue Bai was offering a bounty, between life and death, his mind raced. It was clear, at this moment, he only felt that his IQ had soared. There was a thud, but Wukunail was kneeling on both knees, his head firmly on the ground. Master Sue Bai, I have money. The money I have hidden far exceeds my bounty. As long as you let me go, I will give you all my money. Seeing that Sue Bai didn't say anything, Wu Inch Nail panicked. But it doesn't matter, the other party is asking for money, so it's much easier to say. If you are not interested in this small amount of money, a golden bell will be delivered from the Stone Country Temple in a short time. Pure gold, that is valuable, it must be valuable. As long as you let me go, I can help you take away the golden clock at that time, and all the money in exchange will belong to you. Ah, this 5-inch nail's performance of being so useless also shocked several people. However, this is more than enough to show how terrifying Tsubai is in front of him. Hyuga Hinata's small hands kept shaking. She didn't care whether Wu-inch nail's performance was promising or not. The small face turned from white to pale, and Hinata wanted to leave Tsubai's gaze, but was unable to move. Could it be that he was going to fight such a terrifying person for the first time when he went out on a mission? The other party wiped out the existence of a small country with his own power. It's over, it's over. Dreams, expectations, longings. At this moment, everything becomes nothingness. Chapter 4. Poor, weak and helpless, but very edible. Holding a black knife in his hand, Tsubai listened to the conversation of several people with great interest. As well as 5-inch nail's strange behavior. As a time traveler, Tsubai came to this world several years ago. But he was not born in Ninja Village like others. The place where he appeared was in a dilapidated country. Before he could react, he heard a loud shout from the sky. It's an explosion. Immediately, the Daming Mansion castle in the distance was bombed to pieces along with the roar. When the big clay bird flew high into the sky and left, Tsubai clearly saw two guys in red robes with black background and bamboo hats standing on the back of the bird and walking away. Tsubai, who was grateful for his escape, has not yet left the country that was destroyed by Deidara and Scorpion. What ushered in was a group of ninjas with Cloud Shinobi Village forehead protector. It's him. It's terrible. He destroyed this country by himself. Catch it back. Be careful with the black long knife in his hand. The other party, indiscriminately, identified Tsubai as the chief culprit in destroying that country. However, the bewildered Tsubai didn't even know when the black knife in his hand appeared. At a critical moment, the home system is turned on. A purple-black portal suddenly appeared, sucking him into a different space. That's what saved him. After a year of hard work, Tsubai finally built a house where he can live comfortably in a different space. By the way, I got a lot of rewards. At this time, the system that provided him with ingredients interrupted the service. Just like Yu Hahong said, after that, Tsubai relied on killing bounty criminals to exchange money in the black market for gold. Because the act of destroying a country is too bad, but it is still too late to catch me. Tsubai's bounty increased day by day until it reached 300 million taels. In a few years, Tsubai also traveled to many places in the ninja world and met many people. However, most of them are related to the black market. Of course, such an attractive reward amount also makes Tsubai a delicacy in the eyes of many people. But it doesn't matter. After all, with the existence of the home system, Tsubai can enter the different space anytime and anywhere. Like Uchiha Obito's Kamui space. As long as he wants to run, there is really no one who can stop him. But this time, Tsubai's goal was indeed not 5-inch nails. The 3 million taels of bounty was not enough to move his heart. What he needs more is a servant. Look how impolite it is. What he needs more is a housekeeper. Open black lens bracket name. Tsubai close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket sex. Male close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket alias. White yaksha close black lens bracket. Reward. 300 million. Props. Black sword autumn water. Skill. Alter Ura. 8 vessel jumps. Characteristics. Illusion immunity, poison immunity. Task. Find a servant, reward skill transformation technique. Changed. This transformation technique lasts longer and has stronger endurance. The seemingly simple task made Tsubai feel a little bit difficult. Among the characters he is familiar with, how can there be so many good men and women? After thinking for a long time, Tsubai suddenly remembered the Cloud Shinobi village who wanted to catch him indiscriminately before. That ninja village that always sneaks in when other villages have problems. In the Second Ninja World War, Taking advantage of the emptiness in Konoha village, Uzumaki Kushina was captured. Taking advantage of third Kazekage being killed by the scorpion, Sunagaku attacked Sunagaku again when he did his best to search for third Kazekage and caused the village to become empty without knowing the truth of the matter. By the way, Konoha village and Iwagakure are at war, leading to the third ninja war. Don't forget, the second ninja war was fierce between Konoha village, Iwagakure and Sunagaku. This group of 5-year-old and 3-year-old guys have been recharging their energy and waiting for the opportunity for a long time. Then, taking advantage of Iwagakure tore up the peace treaty with Konoha village, the two villages fought daily, the Nine Tails Rebellion, and the fourth generation died in battle. 3 years after Konoha village was hit hard. Cloud Shinobi village sneaks into Konoha to arrest Hinata on the grounds of signing an alliance contract with Konoha village. These bastards really won't let go of even a 3-year-old child. After the first failure, Cloud Shinobi village was not discouraged, and sent 2 more Jonin to infiltrate Konoha village while the Chunin exam started in Konoha village. Coincidentally, Konoha Honkai's plan happened, and Hinata, who was weak, was robbed in the chaos. Finally Hinata wakes up and fights back, only to be intimidated by them. It doesn't matter if you want someone or not. As long as you belong to the clan, you can cut off your head and go back with your eyes closed. That really scared Hinata so much that he almost passed out again. Fortunately, Neji, who reconciled with Hyuga Hiyashi, arrived in the end and rescued Hinata again. Hyuga Hinata had a very ill-fated life. Tsubai was terrified of it, but such a shy girl had to face 2 horrific kidnappings. Oh, plus the one on the moon, it's 3 times. It's hard to imagine what it's like. Hinata. Thinking of Hinata, Tsubai slapped his thigh. Isn't this the right candidate? The character is cowardly, kind and easy to fool. Weak and helpless. The key is that she can eat, especially. No. What is commendable is that she can cook delicious meals at this age. Chapter 5. Hyuga Hinata I took away, there will be a period later. He glanced at the 5-inch nails who kept kowtowing. Tsubai has only one impression, this guy is uglier than the one in the original book. But fortunately, the 8th class on the opposite side and their role Jonin are the same as in the original book, and even better. By Yasha, what is your purpose of blocking our way? Shihahong naturally thinks that Tsubai's purpose is to offer a reward for committing a 5-inch nail. But wasting tongue-in-cheek inquiries can buy time for the 3 little ones in the 8th class to escape. Kurenai Yuhi kept gesticulating with her white fingers hidden behind her back, signaling Hinata and the others to leave quickly. Is it my purpose? Tsubai smiled. But what he said made Wu Inch Nail even more frightened. No, no, please spare your life. My life is not worth as much as the money I hide. Tsubai. 5-inch Nail's brain supplement is true, making Tsubai a little helpless. It's just a small role, so you must have the consciousness of a small role. Please don't do nothing to grab the show here, okay? Ahem. Tsubai coughed lightly. I will take Hyuga Hinata with me. I'm taking Hyuga Hinata. The 8 big characters came to several people's ears. 5-inch Nail, who was still kowtowing, immediately froze. Tsubai's target was not him. In this way, wouldn't it mean that his own life was saved? It has nothing to do with anyone else. This sentence that Tsubai added made Wu Inch Nail go limp. The tense nerves suddenly relaxed. The valve was also released. Inadvertently, the pants were wet, and the smell was really unpleasant. But even so, Yu Hahong and the 3rd class of the 8th class did not notice the abnormality of the 5-inch nails. What did you say? Kurenai Yuhi seemed to think that her sense of hearing had gone awry. Tsubai's goal is not 5-inch nails, but his apprentice Hyuga Hinata. This is simply a big joke. Hinata just left Konoha village for the first time as a ninja, and was targeted. This kind of thing is not realistic in any way. I said I would take Hyuga Hinata away. That's right, it's the white-eyed lady behind you who is trembling. Tsubai was interesting, seeing the astonishment of several people. He spoke word by word after each pause especially resonantly. When Hinata learned of this kind of thing, he suddenly felt that the world was falling apart. The reversal of things is totally unacceptable. Yasha's target will be her. But looking at Subai's serious appearance, Hinata's eyes trembled in fright, and his trembling calf subconsciously took a small step back. I tried to step back again, but found that my legs didn't seem to be in control. One person destroys one country, killing without blinking an eye. Even the high-ranking daimyo in the ninja world died tragically under the sword of Subai. Such a terrifying existence, what is it to find yourself? Hinata doesn't understand at all, and now her mind is blank. Impossible, don't even think about it. Yu Hahong was still quite experienced, and he remembered the whole story of the incident in a moment. Someone must be trying to get the eyes of the Konoha village Hyuga clan. I was just worried about Konoha village's revenge, so I found Shirayasha in front of me through black market channels. If this is the case, it is absolutely impossible for Shihahong to let Subai succeed. Nowadays, it is not important to arrest 5-inch nails and go to the country of tea. Protecting the jade of Konoha village is even more critical. I'll stop him, you guys go away. Yu Hihong greeted and quickly sealed. Subai didn't take any action, but watched Shihahong with interest as he slowly disappeared. Illusion. Tree binding technique. Yu Hihong is indeed not bad in terms of illusion skills. This illusion seems to be slightly different from other illusions. The user disappears first, the tree grows from the opponent's feet and binds the opponent, and the user emerges from the tree to attack. So, it doesn't simply make the opponent fall into some kind of hallucination like ordinary illusions. The main body was stunned in the real world. This illusion seems to be able to change the opponent's sense of touch. Being bound by a tree growing under your feet is equivalent to the fact that there is no such tree in the real world, but you mistakenly think that you are bound by a tree. And the user Yu Hihong who jumped out of the tree was her real body. It's over. Shihahong got out of the tree and stabbed Subai who was bound by the big tree with Kun Wuchao. Excellent, as expected of Teacher Hong. That's right, don't you see whose teacher she is? Inuzuka toothbrushed his nose and looked at Shino proudly. But in the next second, Yu Hihong froze in midair. Impossible, what about people? At the moment when Kunwu was about to stab Subai, Shihahong was emptied. Subai, who should have been bound to the tree trunk, had long since disappeared. Where are people? Inuzuka Kiba and Shino were equally puzzled. Wrinkled his nose, but Inuzuka's expression changed. Not good. Sensing a different smell coming from behind, Inuzuka turned his head back violently. Only then did they realize that at some time, Subai had already come behind them. And has already held Hinata in his arms. I took the person away. There will be a period later, bye. Put your fingers together and gesture to each other. As soon as Subai finished speaking, a purple-black portal suddenly appeared behind him. The next moment, Subai and Hinata were instantly sucked into the portal. Before a few people could react, the portal was closed. Empty scene, as if nothing happened. Chapter 6. Poor Hinata, going to farm. Was Hinata captured so easily? Looking at the empty field in front of him, Yu Hihong's heart sank as if tied to a stone. Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino also looked dull. They simply can't accept that this series of things just happened within a few breaths. Subai's movement was so fast that they didn't even have a chance to react. Hinata. He muttered to himself and called Hinata. Yu Hihong suddenly felt her heart twitch suddenly, and bursts of pain floated up. She recalled the scene when Hinata had just been assigned to her subordinates. Due to the identity of the heir of the Hyuga family, Yu Hihong once paid a special visit to Hyuga Hiyashi. And tell Hiyashi that as genin, his life is in danger at any time. As Hinata is the heir of the Hyuga family, is such a decision inappropriate? However, Hiyashi's answer surprised Yu Hihong. Do as you please. The short 5 words show Hiyashi's attitude towards Hinata. Not even her sister who is 5 years younger than her, the Hyuga family doesn't need such a person. Yu Hihong couldn't believe that such hurtful words came from a father. When Kurenai Yuhi left, What made her feel even more heartbroken was that Hinata was standing at the door, accepting all this with a sad expression. However, Kurenai Yuhi, who was Hinata's teacher, is the clearest. Hinata has been working hard to prove herself. But, why did you encounter such a thing on the first mission? Yuhi's red-purple eyelids trembled involuntarily. She regretted it deeply. As a teacher, you should first protect their children. These were her father's last words to her before his death during the Nine Tails Rebellion. Protect the Jade of Konoha village and pass on the will of fire to the next generation. But when facing Tsubai, she didn't even have the right to fight to the death, so she was captured by the other party and left safely. Yuhihong seemed a little unable to accept such a blow. Teacher read. However, just when Yuhihong felt sorry for herself, Inuzuka Teba and Aburame Shino walked over dejectedly. It's completely gone from the proud look it had before. Yuhihong adjusted her mentality and responded quickly. Let's quickly send the 5-inch nails to the country of tea. Leave back to Konoha village immediately and report this matter to Lord Third Hokage. As Jonin, Yuhihong knows that she must keep calm at this time. If another accident happened to the remaining two, he would really have no face to go back to see the people in the village. And it's not that Yuhihong who reacted didn't gain nothing at all. At this time, she finally understood the reason why Tsubai has not been captured so far. It is his time-space ninjutsu of elusiveness. Thinking back and forth, if he can find a way to crack this spell, he should still have a chance to arrest Tsubai. White Yasha. Yuhihong shouted Tsubai's nickname in her heart full of resentment. The clenched fists seemed to be making some kind of oath. If I don't catch you, I will be Konoha Shinobi. On the other side, the space distorted, and the purple portal appeared again. With a big step, Tsubai with Hinata in his arms appeared in a tidy hall. With one arm relaxed, there was a plop. Hinata fell to the floor. Well. With a muffled mosquito sound, Hinata shut her mouth in fright. He lay on the floor tremblingly, for fear of making another noise and angering the scary guy in front of him. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host, you have captured a ninja. Close black lens bracket. After testing, this ninja is Konoha village ninja, Hyuga Hinata. Close black lens bracket. Tsubai. This kind of thing still needs you to fart here. Contempt just rose in my heart. The sound of the system sounded again. Task completed, reward host transformation technique. Change. Close black lens bracket. Please host to guide Hyuga Hinata to plant strawberries. Close black lens bracket. Growing strawberries. The sound of the system startled Tsubai slightly. Out of the corner of his eye, he glanced at Hinata who was lying on the floor, not daring to show his face. That fair neck made Tsubai's whole body feel like an electric shock. Ahem. They're all from my own family, so why be so polite? This kind of thing. Oops, hi. Your system, let me say something. This progress is too fast. Tsubai felt a little excited inside, stroked his chest and communicated with the system in a friendly manner. However, the sound of the system does not seem to end. Open black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for obtaining strawberry seedlings. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Host will randomly get rewards after taking the grown strawberries. Close black lens bracket. Hyuga Hinata can also be rewarded for taking it. Close black lens bracket. As the first servant of the host, how could he not have strength? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Host, please help Hyuga Hinata to shine in the upcoming Chunin exam in Konoha village. Beat Hyuga Neji, beat Uzumaki Naruto. Close black lens bracket. Tsubai. Wong Defa. What the hell are strawberry seedlings? Chapter 7. Little Ghost, Hyuga Hinata. Staring at the strawberry seedlings on the table for a long time. Tsubai let out a long breath. That's fine, but contact without emotion is quite uncomfortable. At this time, Hinata changed her posture and squatted on the floor. Hearing Tsubai's sigh, she secretly glanced at Tsubai curiously. But seeing a wicked smile across Tsubai's handsome face, Hinata thumped inwardly. It's over. This guy is not thinking about how to kill me. It's a pity that Tsubai just stood up slowly and looked at Hinata. It's also getting dark outside. You go to the hot spring next door to take a bath and wash off, and then that's where you eat in the kitchen. You wash your body and go to the kitchen to make something to eat. Following the direction of Tsubai's finger, Hinata took a few glances, then lowered his head again. Not a word. To be precise, I dare not speak. Seeing Hinata's frightened look, Tsubai shrugged and didn't care at all. According to Hinata's personality, this kind of behavior is relatively normal. If you switch to Tsunade, I'm afraid it will give you a big split in the air, and then a painful kick from the sky. This scene reminded Tsubai of a game he once played. People with different personalities will deal with them differently after being caught. Even the kind with a strong temper, when you communicate with her, she will scold you. At this time, it is necessary to use the fear technique, intimidation and the like to kill her spirit. Then slowly try to encourage. After all, living in fear every day, people's mentality can easily collapse. Either flee, or commit suicide. Forget it, you can do whatever you want, I'm going to take a bath first. Tsubai left a word and ignored Hinata. Go alone in the direction of the hot spring house. However, at the same time that Tsubai entered the room, Hinata acted. Reluctantly stretched out 2 fingers to seal. Several blue veins popped up around her clear white eyes. Blind eyes. Hinata whispered into the mosquitoes, for fear of attracting Tsubai's attention. Following Hinata's gaze, she indeed saw Tsubai standing beside the hot spring pool, about to soak in the bathhouse. Well, it seems to be seeing something that shouldn't be seen. Hinata blushed slightly. His head swelled, and he felt dizzy. Shaking his little head violently a few times, Hinata knew very well that now was not the time to think about such nonsense. Moreover, she must not be in a coma at this time. Otherwise, there will be no chance of escape after so much waiting. General glanced around the hall with blank eyes, and Hinata quickly found the gate to the courtyard. Another glance at Tsubai. At this time, Tsubai seemed to be feeling the comfort brought by the hot spring. The whole person's eyes were closed tightly, and his face was relaxed. He didn't pay attention to the movement of the hall at all. Hey, secretly let out a chuckle. Hinata, who was still a little panicked at first, felt a little proud at this moment. White Yasha. Such a powerful person is so procrastinated. He even put himself in the room alone without any scruples, without any restraints. Don't you just let yourself run away. Sure enough, the more powerful the guy, the more confident he is, but it's a pity that Shiroyasha is too confident. I muttered something in my heart. Hinata took a few breaths and tiptoed towards the door. Just when she was close to the gate, she slowly stood up against the wall. Such behavior also makes the room extremely quiet without any noise. When he came to the door, Hinata looked slightly condensed. It's a challenge, and the moment you open the door there's bound to be an excessive rattle. However, judging the distance from the gate to the hot spring room, the sound of the door opening softly should not reach Tsubai's ears. Moreover, now that Tsubai is feeling the comfort of the hot springs, his concentration is not as concentrated. Plus the sound of running water. It's done. With anticipation in her heart, Hinata cautiously came to the door of the room. When seeing the doorknob, Hinata's pupils dilated slightly, and she covered her mouth in disbelief. The door is half open. Looking at the gap in the doorway, Hinata was very excited. What a God bless little cutie. Easily beat the hardest levels. Hyuga Hinata came to the courtyard and took a deep breath. The air is really fresh. This bite is like trying to revive Hinata with full blood. She didn't expect that after being hijacked, she could escape so easily again. As long as you step out of Tsubai's house, how can this courtyard stop her? Looking around again, Hinata found that the walls of the courtyard were not particularly high. As high as the walls of their Hyuga clan. As a qualified genin, even if you have no skills, a wall of this level can be overturned even if it is said to be overturned. That's it, goodbye, Shiroyasha. Hyuga Hinata took a deep breath. Fortunately, it was late at this time, otherwise Hinata's face would be blushed again. I'm sorry, Shiroyasha. I didn't mean to see it before. Hinata embarrassedly rubbed her fingers twice, leaving a faint sentence, as if saying goodbye to his irresponsibility. The next moment, without staying any longer, Hinata pushed her legs hard and jumped slightly towards the high wall. Immediately, there was a bang. Her head sank, as if it hit some kind of material and was ejected back. Oops. With a soft cry, Hinata sat heavily on the ground. Hiss, it hurts. Feeling the pain from the buttocks, Hinata closed her eyes in pain and grinned unconsciously. However, at this moment, Tsubai's voice came from the hall of the house. Hinata. Where did you go? Hinata, Chapter 8. Hyuga Hinata, Escape Plan. Tsubai's voice sounded like a reminder to Hinata. If the other party knew that he wanted to escape, he would definitely be killed. For a while, Hinata sat there in shock and didn't know what to do. At this time, Tsubai's figure was reflected in the doorway, and he walked out of the house. It turned out to be in the yard. Why are you sitting on the ground? Tsubai pretended to be relieved. Seeing the dazed Hinata, he held his breath and didn't want to laugh. That's it. Still want to escape? Where are you going? This is a different space. For Hinata, apart from Tsubai's house and courtyard, there is no space outside to stand on. Are you curious about this yard? It's no wonder. After all, when you come to a new environment, you really need to get familiar with it. Just when Hinata was feeling desperate, Tsubai's words made her hopeful again. I didn't expect Bayasha to think that I was curious about this environment. How is it possible? Who would be interested in the environment after being hijacked? Want to return to thinking, but Hinata nodded obediently. Glancing at Tsubai, he saw that he was wrapped in a bath towel. Hinata lowered her head slightly again, her eyes flickering, like a guilty conscience. If it's okay, go wash up. I'm going to cook first. Remember to come out for dinner later. Just as he was about to turn his head to leave, Tsubai suddenly stopped and looked back again. Don't be soaked in the water and won't come out. Leave a few words briefly. Tsubai turned his head and walked towards the kitchen. He didn't care about Hinata's thoughts and actions whether he wanted to escape or not. Escape is impossible. In the different space of Tsubai's home, if you want to enter, you need Tsubai to bring you in. If he wanted to leave, Tsubai would naturally take him away. Even if Tsubai summons the portal, without his guidance, you can't get in or get out if you hit your head. Of course, Tsubai is very pleased with Hinata's idea of running away, at least it proves that the child is not stupid. Seeing Tsubai leave, Hinata slumped on the ground and breathed a sigh of relief. You didn't care about yourself. Is he not worried that I will escape? At this time, Hinata slowly relaxed and began to think. What is the purpose of Bayasha to arrest him? Did he want to catch himself, or was he hired to catch him like a ninja? What kind of place is this? Why did I see that I had already jumped out of the courtyard, but seemed to hit something and was bounced back? There are many problems. Hinata's small head was completely unable to handle these tedious things for a while. For the current plan, we still have to find a way to escape. Blind eyes. Rolling her eyes again, Hinata looked around the courtyard wall. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it, Hinata's heart is pounding in fright. How can it be? Hinata opened her small mouth slightly, and a look of horror surfaced on her face. Why is it so foggy outside that I can't see anything? Hyuga Hinata was unavoidably a little horrified. She has a shy personality and is not good at expressing. These are indeed true. But that doesn't mean she's stupid. It is very easy to use the white eyes of their Hyuga clan to see things outside. It's just that this is the first time Hinata has seen this phenomenon. Could it be that there are enchantments and the like? As soon as this idea came up, Hinata immediately dispelled the idea himself. Even if it is an enchantment, the white eyes can see very clearly. But it was the first time she had seen such a foggy situation. Looking around carefully, Hinata suddenly found a breakthrough. At a certain position in the courtyard, There was a gap in the wall. Gulu. Gulu. Well. The sound in the stomach made Hinata's face blush. In today's time, nothing but fear is hunger. Rubbing her belly, Hinata made a decision in her heart. Eat first, and only when you have strength can you run. That hole in the wall should allow him to escape and ascend to heaven. Even if it is not possible, at least it should be possible to investigate the general situation outside the courtyard wall. Maybe we can also find the reason why the white eyes can't see outside. After thinking for a while, Hinata stood up, dusted the dust off her buttocks, and walked slowly into the room. Chapter 9. The escape plan was beaten and quat, after it failed. In the dead of night, Subai finally had time to quietly think about the follow-up matters. Although the system does not indicate what rewards Hinata will receive after defeating Neji and Naruto in the Chunin exam. But according to Subai's past experience, he will receive generous chakra and physical rewards. This is actually a very good thing. It is equivalent to a reward for increasing the upper limit of Subai's own ability. The amount of taijutsu and chakra is the basis for exerting the upper limit of ability. Then the problem is very troublesome. Hyuga Hinata. In Subai's memory, she is a white-eyed princess with extremely high purity. It sounds like a lot, but Hinata's own talent is really hip pull. And until the final performance, there is nothing too bright. In terms of strength, the gap between her and Hyuga Neji is still very large. Not to mention Uzumaki Naruto's little yellow hair, after all, he has the title of blonde hanging on the wall. Fortunately, the strawberry seedlings given before the system, after planting successfully bear fruit. As long as you take it, you can still bring some rewards to Hinata. The rest is how to improve the mentality of this little girl in battle. Kindness. Suddenly, Subai felt that something was wrong. His brows furrowed slightly. This so-called different space is closely connected with Subai's consciousness. He can feel the mutation of anything. I'm not going to jump the wall this time, but to drill a hole. It doesn't stop at night. Subai shook his head, then smiled self-deprecatingly. This is so normal, okay. Anyone who was kidnapped does not want to escape. No such idiots. Why? It seems that we have to start with Hinata's ideological work. Feeling Hinata stuck in the hole in the wall, Subai sat up slowly, put on his clothes and got out of bed. In the courtyard late at night, Hinata was dumbfounded. Just when she was about to get out of the hole in the wall, she suddenly felt that there was an inexplicable force in front of her that stopped her from moving forward. No matter how I looked with my white eyes, I didn't see any way. It was still a hazy haze. No matter how hard she tried, she still couldn't get out of the hole in the wall. For a moment, she seemed to realize that this place was not an ordinary place. Sure enough, she underestimated Subai. Just when she was about to retreat, she realized that for some reason, she was stuck in the hole in the wall. Hinata. However, it was hard to die, and Subai's soul cry sounded again in the courtyard. This time, Hinata was even more anxious. I twisted my body a few times, but found that it was too tight and I couldn't move. It's dead, this time it's really dead. In an instant, Hinata has already seen his future. The scene of the black knife cutting off her head is really horrifying. Where's the person? Why can't I find it? Subai looked at the two legs standing upright on the wall, feeling almost stiff. This picture is really funny. But Subai is also a person who has experienced training, unless it is really funny, otherwise he will not laugh. Hearing the voice behind him, Hinata was startled and sweated profusely. Near. It should not be said that it is close, Subai is right behind her. Didn't he see me? Thinking of this, Hinata breathed a sigh of relief. There is nothing wrong with choosing to act at night while people are sleeping. The consciousness of Subai who woke up is definitely not so clear, plus the weather problem. It was normal not to find her. Just when Hinata thought this way, a sudden change occurred. A scream of surprise almost blurted out, and Hinata snapped her mouth shut. If she was found running away at this time, the result would definitely be very terrifying. The only way is to wait for Subai to leave, and then find a way to get his body out. But Hinata's face was going to burn. What is this white yaksha doing? On the other side, Subai poked around curiously with his fingers. It's that wicked guy who blocked the dog hole in my house. Hold head high. Damn bastard, you still do this kind of thing in my yard. How will my dog go home in the future? Nani, what is this? Why are there two sewer pipes? Hinata felt ashamed when she heard this. By the way, I scolded Subai several times in my heart. What do you mean blocking your dog hole? Is there any sewer pipe? It's obviously two legs, okay. Besides, the sewer pipe in your house is pressed against the courtyard wall. What a strange building this is. But, for a moment, it made Hinata feel extremely sad and indignant. Clap 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 clap. With a few crisp beating sounds resounding through the courtyard. Hinata only felt a burning pain. Chapter 10. Hinata, who do you think I am? In the hall of the room, Subai sat on the sofa and looked up and down at Hinata in front of him. Hinata pouted her mouth aggrievedly, without saying a word, with tears in her eyes. Sit down, I have something to talk to you seriously. Subai patted the sofa, signaling to Hinata not to stand there in a daze. But Hinata kept shaking her head. Now the buttocks are still sore, I can't sit still. And what makes Hinata feel ashamed and angry most is that Subai has discovered all her behaviors. When he dragged her out just now, he pretended to be worried and asked himself if there was anything wrong. That appearance is simply abhorrent. But what makes Hinata feel even more desperate is that this place really does not belong to their ninja world. Is a special existence. Unless Subai agreed to take her out, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't escape from here. What broke Hinata the most was that if he wanted to leave here, he had to pray that nothing would happen to Subai. Once there is a problem with him, the one waiting for Hinata is to starve to death in this place. After dispelling the idea of running for his life, Hinata surged up with courage, looked at Subai and asked slowly, "What are you trying to do by arresting me?" "Grow strawberries." Subai answered casually. He was indeed very honest and did not hide from Hinata. However, to Hinata's ears, things seemed to have changed. A few seconds later, Hinata's pretty face blushed, she closed her eyes and waved her palms indiscriminately, saying, "No, no, no, no. Subai. We don't know each other well." Facing Hinata, who was blushing, rubbed her fingers, and had vacillating eyes. Subai is a bit of a muggle. Well, you really know everything. Girls really mature earlier than boys. Subai is convinced that there is no problem with this sentence. Hinata said weakly. This kind of thing is really embarrassing. How could Bayasha say such a thing? Really don't know what a shame is. I said this, not what you think. Subai took out the strawberry seedlings obtained earlier and placed them in front of Hinata. From tomorrow, you will dig a piece of land in the vegetable garden behind the house and plant all these seedlings. At that time, I will give you the reward you deserve. By the way, if you behave well, I will put you back in Konoha village. Hyuga Hinata couldn't believe her ears. For a long time, he jumped over the wall and drilled holes, but Subai actually told her to put himself back. Was beaten for nothing. As expected of White Yaksha, it was too terrifying. What a pure lamb fell into the wolf's mouth. Really. When he heard that he still had the chance to return to Konoha village, Hinata immediately beamed with joy. But when she remembered the other party's identity, she withdrew her smile again. You didn't lie to me, did you? Of course I won't lie to you, and I'll give you some rewards you deserve. Subai's serious and determined expression made Hinata startled for a moment. This was the first time she saw Subai seriously. It is inevitable that the mood will be rendered. There is no need for rewards, as long as you let me go back, I will definitely plant these seedlings properly. In Hinata's perception, these so-called rewards are almost certainly money. But she has no interest in money at all. Although she is not very popular with her father in the family, the status of Miss Hyuga remains unchanged. The rest of the Hyuga clan are still very polite to her. In terms of money, she has no shortage. After hearing Hinata's words, Subai immediately saw through her little thoughts. No, I think you must have misunderstood. My so-called reward is not monetary, but giving you a chance to beat Hyuga Neji. Whether you want it or not depends on your personal wishes. Boom. Subai's words exploded from Hinata's mind like a thunderbolt. Beat her brother Hyuga Neji. What an incredible thing this is. Hyuga Neji is the absolute genius of the younger generation of their Hyuga clan. Not to mention Hyuga Hinata, even her number one Uchiha Sasuke in the same period may not be able to defeat Neji in Hinata's heart. Not to mention pity the weak and helpless self. Please. Please stop making fun of me. Hinata pursed her lips, looking a little depressed. Hyuga Neji is like a nightmare in her heart. Said it was her brother, but in fact he was only 1 year older than her. As a member of the Hyuga family, Miss Hinata's status will always be compared with other members of the same family. Neji just can't seem to cross the chasm. Hinata recognized it in her heart. Mr. Shiro Yasha. It's impossible, maybe you don't know how powerful brother Neji is. After a few seconds of silence, Hinata smiled again. It's just this smile that makes people feel weird. There is helplessness, unwillingness, and a little bit of desolation. Hearing this, Subai stood up slowly, stepped forward and touched Hinata's head. Hinata originally wanted to hide, but seeing that the other party was not malicious, he didn't struggle. Subai nodded in satisfaction, and said with a smile, "Who do you think I am? I don't just know about Hyuga Neji. I also know everything about Uzumaki Naruto very well." Chapter 11. Hinata. Resurrection with full blood, the future, here I come. Who do you think I am? Only then did Hyuga Hinata react again. The Subai in front of him can destroy a small country with one person. This kind of terrifying person is completely beyond her cognition. No wonder even a ninja as good as Mr. Yutihong can't do anything against Subai. What scares Hinata even more is Subai's other identity. White Yaksha. This is another name for him by those in the black market. He has very close contacts with the black market. Although it is said that ninjas have almost no contact with the black market, it does not mean that Hinata is unaware of the existence of these things. You mean Naruto. When Naruto was mentioned, Hinata unconsciously glanced in other directions. Seeing this, Subai revealed an evil smile. Sure enough. Hyuga Hinata of this period had a somewhat special affection for Uzumaki Naruto. But it's not like people say, because Naruto saved Hinata who was bullied when he was a child. The so-called real salvation is Uzumaki Naruto's unyielding spirit that makes Hinata feel at ease. She also needs to have the spirit of trying to be recognized even if she is looked down upon by others. To put it bluntly, in Hinata's heart, Uzumaki Naruto, like her, belongs to the tail of the crane, an existence that others laugh at. People with low self-esteem always need this kind of spiritual encouragement. Well, yes, but this kind of behavior of attaching spiritual sustenance to others. It was originally the most unconfident expression of the weak, and it will never become stronger. A real strong man is one who believes in himself from the bottom of his heart. Of course, in your ninja world, only the strong will be recognized and respected. Subai didn't make it clear. But he believes that according to Hinata's delicate mind and clever head, he must understand what he is talking about. And it's not this kind of spiritual narcissism that I can help you with. It really makes you stronger. Whether you want to accept it or not depends on your own thoughts. Having said that, Subai let out a sigh of relief. Think about it for yourself, I'm going to bed. Ah, this. Looking at the back of Subai leaving alone, Hinata was numb. Her heart was completely seen through by Subai. Mr. Subai. Ah. Excited for a moment, Hinata shouted loudly. After realizing it, she felt that her behavior was too abrupt, so she just covered her mouth. Subai turned his head full of surprise. It's late at night, what the hell are you screaming so loud? If you scare me to death, you will starve to death here. Hold. Sorry. Hinata lowered her little head, pointing her fingers aggrievedly. She really didn't mean to. It's just that I was too shocked and excited. Is there anything? Hearing Su-bai's question, Hinata quickly raised his head and said, no, that. After struggling for a long time, Hinata finally plucked up the courage to ask. Mr. Su-bai, can you read minds? Su-bai. I know massage, do you want to experience it? Hinata was startled slightly upon hearing this. A trace of rosiness appeared on his face again. The voice was extremely small. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much. Seeing this, Su-bai also felt a little overwhelmed. Hyuga Hinata is good anywhere. It is this character that is really difficult to get along with. You can't make jokes, you will blush if you do it, and you will pass out if you don't. Can't interact at all. I said, you have to slowly correct your habit of blushing when you have nothing to do in the future. If there is more white smoke rising above your head, you will really be the same as that locomotive. I don't care about Hinata who is standing still and blushing. Su-bai returned to the room on his own, closed the door, and lay down on the bed with peace of mind. Seeing that Su-bai had fallen asleep, Hyuga Hinata finally breathed a sigh of relief. Call. With a long breath, a relaxed joy appeared on her face. Especially when she glanced at the strawberry seedlings on the table, she suddenly felt that these little guys were extremely cute. Is it true that as long as you are planted well, you can accept Mr. Su-bai's guidance? Hinata gently picked up the strawberry seedlings in front of her eyes, looked left and right, like a curious baby. Just like what Su-bai thinks, although Hinata's strength is not good, his brain is neither stupid nor stupid. Coupled with the more reasonable personality, it is easier to accept suggestions from others. Yes. Hyuga Hinata understands Su-bai's mention of Uzumaki Naruto and what follows. It was very clear what she really wanted in her heart. And she is also very clear that Su-bai's so-called rewards are actually guidance to her. Able to receive personal guidance from Shirayasha. Hinata was so excited that she couldn't even believe it was true. Mr. Su-bai really can't read minds. Otherwise, how would he know this? Staring at the strawberry seedlings for a long time, Hinata's head was slightly tilted, and her lips were slightly raised. His face was full of doubts. Chapter 12. Cloud Shinobi Village. Labor is not Danzo. Konoha Village Hokage Office. Sarutobi Hiruzen sucked on the bong. His eyes sank, his expression slightly solemn. Hinata was kidnapped by White Yasha. Yuhihong, who rushed back to Konoha Village, immediately informed Sarutobi Hiruzen of everything. The news stunned the elderly Sarutobi Hiruzen. What is Su-bai's arrest of Hyuga Hinata? Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't figure out what was going on. Moreover, as third Hokage of Konoha Village, he still has some understanding of Su-bai's affairs. Not only to understand, the most important thing is that Sarutobi Hiruzen also knows something that most people don't know. The truth about Su-bai single-handedly destroying a small country. Based on feedback from Uchiha Itachi, an undercover agent of the Konoha Village Akatsuki organization. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew very well that the small country that was destroyed back then was created by the Akatsuki organization and had nothing to do with Su-bai. But this is a private matter between him and Uchiha Itachi. Sarutobi Hiruzen could only curse the idiots of Cloud Shinobi Village from the bottom of his heart when he heard Cloud Shinobi Village exaggerating Su-bai's bad deeds. And can't tell anyone about it. Revenge. Sarutobi Hiruzen closed his eyes slightly, thinking quietly for a few seconds. He recalled something about Su-bai. Perhaps it was because of Cloud Shinobi Village's indiscriminate dumping, which caused Su-bai's resentment. For a while, Su-bai was indeed a team that went out to perform missions against Cloud Shinobi Village. Since then, he has slowly entered people's sights. And he reported his name without hesitation. When I heard about Su-bai again later, he had already been on the black market. On the reward list. But this is clearly a festival between him and Cloud Shinobi Village. What does it have to do with Konoha Village? Sarutobi Hiruzen pondered for a long time. It seems to smell the taste of conspiracy. Could it be that Cloud Shinobi Village directed and acted all of this? Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen was horrified. Seeing him open his eyes suddenly, Yuhihong hurriedly asked, "How is it, Lord Third Hokage?" After a few seconds of silence, Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. "No, it's fine." "Are you saying that your illusion has no effect on Shiroyasha?" When hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's question, Kurenai Yuhi nodded and said, "Yes. I'm sure he doesn't seem to be affected at all. Think of the feeling of playing against Tsubai before. Yuhihong is very sure. His own illusion did not have even the slightest effect on Tsubai. It didn't affect any of Tsubai's actions at all. And his weird space-time ninjutsu. This is the most troublesome point. Regarding space-time ninjutsu, the entire Konoha village, that is, Namikaze Minato, understands it better. But nowadays, Namikaze Minato as 4th Hokage is already hanging on the wall. Yuhihong hopes that Sarutobi Hiruzen can find some people to find a way to break this kind of space-time ninjutsu. Isn't this difficult for an old man like him? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt extremely remorseful. At the beginning, after he learned the truth about Tsubai, he didn't pay attention to this young man at all. Who would have thought that he might be the ninja from Cloud Shinobi Village? Right. It is a drama directed and acted by Cloud Shinobi Village. Give your ninja the identity of a black market wandering swordsman, and then find the right time to catch Hyuga Hinata and make a supercilious look. Confuse Konoha Village's sights and sounds without drawing attention to them. Damn bastards. Sarutobi Hiruzen clenched his fists in secret resentment. He really didn't expect that those guys could endure for so many years, and even paved so many roads for it. Master Third Hokage. We have to figure something out quickly. Now Hinata is still in danger. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent, Yuhihong didn't know what he was thinking. Due to the emotional tension, Hong's voice was slightly sonorous. Shocked Sarutobi Hiruzen looked up at her. But it's a pity that Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to tell Kurenai Yuhi very much. Maybe it's too late to say that now. If you follow your own thinking, I am afraid that Hyuga Hinata has been brought to Cloud Shinobi Village by now. Even say something ugly. Those bastards at Cloud Shinobi Village have gotten the eyes of the Hyuga clan. Cough cough. Coughing a few times, Sarutobi Hiruzen pretended to be calm and comforted. Hong, don't worry about this matter anymore. Leave the rest to me to handle. After a pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen continued, Hiyashi, let me talk about it. But Lord Third Generation. Kurenai Yuhi was in a hurry, and was about to say something more but was interrupted by Sarutobi Hiruzen. I'll leave this matter to Anbu to handle, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Tell Kiba and Shino not to make too much noise. That's it, you go back first. Hearing that Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted Anbu to handle the matter, Kurenai Yuhi couldn't say anything more. Saying goodbye to Sarutobi Hiruzen, she turned and left the office. And in the room on the other side of the office, an old man with a bandage on his head and a cane was struggling to put his face against the wall. Oh, I didn't expect Hyuga Hinata to be taken away by Shirayasha. Hiruzen, I'll see how you explain it to the Hyuga clan. Chapter 13. Hiruzen and Hasho 39's conjecture, Hyuga Hiyashi. Konoha Village Hyuga Mansion. Hyuga Hiyashi sat quietly in the room. He seemed to be calm on the surface, but in fact he was terrified inside. I heard from members of the family that I saw Yuhihong in the village. But after completing the mission and returning to Konoha Village, until the evening, Hiyashi did not wait for Hinata to come home. As a ninja, how could he not know what happened? Da. There were hurried footsteps in the corridor outside the room. Until the door stops abruptly. Master Hiyashi, Lord Third Hokage is here. What should come is finally coming. Don't look at the usual Hiyashi as strict and disapproving of Hinata. But it's just hating iron but not steel. In addition, the Hyuga family belongs to a well-established family, and the family rules are relatively strict and stubborn, and they also place great emphasis on the family's reputation. But anyway, Hinata is his own daughter. Knowing the date of Sarutobi came in person. Hyuga Hiyashi's heart skipped a beat. It seems that what happened to Hinata should be very serious. The little hope that was originally left in my heart seemed to be reduced to ashes. I see. You back off. With a deep breath, Hiyashi cleared up his sad mood. As a ninja, he is also the head of the Hyuga clan. Hyuga Hiyashi knew that he had to keep calm at this moment. You must not cause trouble to the family and the village because of your emotions. Go to the room where Sarutobi Hiruzen is waiting. Hiyashi still said respectfully, Master third generation. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Signal Hiyashi to sit down. Before Hyuga Hiyashi sat down, he noticed that the house was empty. In other words, this conversation is only him and Sarutobi Hiruzen. As expected. Hinata, presumably something big happened. Hiyashi. Sarutobi Hiruzen softly called Hyuga Hiyashi, and was about to say something, but after a pause, he just let out a long sigh. I know it well, Lord third generation, if you have anything to say, just say it. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave Hiyashi an approving look. He opened his mouth and said, Hinata. Abducted by White Yasha. White Yasha. Kidnap. Hyuga Hiyashi knows very little about Tsubai. He had also heard the name of White Yaksha before, but he was just a relatively powerful wandering swordsman in the black market. After all, as an old and famous family and a famous family in Konoha village, Hiyashi's eyes are on the top of his head. So he didn't care who Bai Yasha was. But upon hearing that Hinata was just kidnapped, Hiyashi's already dead heart suddenly brightened up again. As the other party asking for money. This is what he subconsciously thinks. People in the black market live for money. It's different from the ninjas in these big villages. There is no high consciousness. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head, and told Hiyashi what was in his heart. The more he said, the deeper Hyuga Hiyashi's heart sank. You mean Cloud Shinobi Village? Hyuga Hiyashi flew into a rage when he heard that Cloud Shinobi Village might have done something. Those bastards hijacked Hinata under the guise of being an ally with us while Konoha Village was recharging its energy. I have already lost my brother. These guys still haven't given up. Facing the passionate Hyuga Hiyashi, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face also sank. Yes, and I didn't expect them to be silent for so many years. If they did not do anything for the sake of superciliousness, maybe after taking Hinata's superciliousness, they might be able to save Hinata's life. However, I'm more worried about another thing now. Speaking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes were slightly condensed, with a fierce look on his face. This is another hypothesis he came up with on the way here. If Cloud Shinobi Village had such an idea, it would be really bad. Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen's ugly face, Hyuga Hiyashi asked repeatedly, Master Third Hokage, please tell me, what exactly is it? I worry. After adjusting his emotions, Sarutobi Hiruzen said slowly, I'm worried that they will let Shiroyasha and Hinata have offspring. Become a ninja in their Cloud Shinobi Village. If this is the case, then Cloud Shinobi Village will produce a large number of ninjas with white eyes and time-space ninjutsu in the future. And according to the habits of their group of guys, after gaining power, it will definitely lead to a large-scale ninja war. Hiss. Sarutobi Hiruzen's speculation completely stunned Hyuga Hiyashi. If it's true what Third Hokage said, then wouldn't their Hyuga clan be completely messed up? At that time, the Hyuga clan will definitely become the ridicule of the ninja world. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't notice that Hyuga Hiyashi's face was getting more and more gloomy, but continued. Of course these are just my guesses. I have sent the most elite Anbu members around me to investigate secretly in Cloud Shinobi Village. I ordered them to bring Hinata back if they found any trace of it. Having said that, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked to Hyuga Hiyashi. It's just that if those Anbu members fight to the end, when they can't escape smoothly, the last member will. Sarutobi Hiruzen is stuck. Although he didn't say everything, Hyuga Hiyashi knew exactly what he was going to say. I see, Lord Third Generation. Hiyashi is like a deflated ball. Sarutobi Hiruzen's words are clear. If things go as he thinks, it is Cloud Shinobi Village's plan for future strategy. The Anbu members failed to rescue Hinata, so they had to kill Hinata and destroy her white eyes. Chapter 14. Danzo. Hiruzen, you must die. In a dark room. Danzo closed his eyes slightly, sat on a chair with one hand on a cane, and listened to the report of the person opposite. Are you saying that Anbu sent by Hiruzen is going in the direction of the Land of Thunder? Yes, Lord Danzo. The ninja with the same Konoha village Anbu mask on his face was kneeling on the ground. Completely narrated the information learned before. Understood, back down. After dissuading the Anbu ninja, Danzo's narrowed eyes slowly opened. His expression was neither sad nor happy. As Sarutobi Hiruzen's former partner, Shimura Danzo is like the roundworm in Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart. But he didn't expect things to become so serious. Sarutobi Hiruzen actually dispatched dozens of elite Anbu to attack immediately. Is it because of the kidnapping of Hyuga Hinata? After muttering to himself, Danzo suddenly came to his senses and instantly understood what Sarutobi Hiruzen was thinking. HMPH. The old guy's brain is still so fast. He beckoned. Swish. Another Anbu member appeared before Shimura Danzo half kneeling. Is there something to order, Lord Danzo? You lead people to find a black market in the Fire Country, and use the transformation technique to change into the appearance of White Yasha and Hyuga Hinata. Then use Shiroyasha's character to kill Hyuga Hinata and destroy Shiroya. Remember, do all this in a crowded place. Danzo simply ordered the task content, and finally added, also, don't leave any information about our Konoha village. Yes, Master Danzo. The members of Anbu accepted their orders with awe. With a swish, it disappeared into the room. HMPH. Hiruzen, an old fox, suddenly thought it was the idiots of Cloud Shinobi Village. The corner of Shimura Danzo's mouth moved slightly, revealing a sneer. In such a peaceful age, Sarutobi Hiruzen actually sent dozens of elite Anbu to the Land of Thunder. How could Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has always been an indecisive character and a pacifist, take the initiative to send someone to Cloud Shinobi Village? Especially now as the time of peace. Then there is only one reason. It must be because of Hyuga Hinata's affairs, worried that Cloud Shinobi Village will get supercilious. It looks like the kidnapping of Hyuga Hinata is a matter of Cloud Shinobi Village hiring Shiroyasha. Although Danzo also thinks that there is some rift between them, but in the face of sufficient interests, we are all friends. He is like Orochimaru. Currently, Sarutobi Hiruzen is considering holding the Chunin exam jointly with Tsunagaku. And Orochimaru seems to have his eye on Uchiha Sasuke of Konoha Village. It just so happened that Shimura Danzo also had the idea of exterminating the Uchiha clan. But because Uchiha Itachi threatened Danzo on the grounds of Sasuke's life safety, Danzo dared not do anything to Sasuke himself. Just sell it to Orochimaru as a favor. Besides, the two have been collaborating secretly since a long time ago. Danzo backed Orochimaru to compete with Namikaze Minato for Hokage, but lost to Sarutobi Hiruzen. And after Uchiha's death, Sarutobi Hiruzen resigned from the post of assistant to Shimura Danzo Hokage. Even his root tissue was uprooted. As a result, there are not many subordinates that Danzo can command now. As long as Sarutobi Hiruzen does not die, Shimura Danzo cannot hold his head up. So Danzo negotiated with Orochimaru, and the Yinyan village established by Orochimaru came forward to seduce Tsunagaku, who was worrying about funds. The two parties implement the Konoha Honkai plan when Musha joins the Chunin exam. Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed by Orochimaru himself. Shimura Danzo took the opportunity to take charge of Konoha village, providing Orochimaru with the experiments he needs in the future. The opportunity I waited so hard for must not end because of Hinata's kidnapping. Danzo was talking to himself. He is very clear that once Konoha village and Cloud Shinobi village conflict, then the Chunin exam plan will definitely run aground. Whether Hyuga Hinata was kidnapped by Cloud Shinobi village, Danzo didn't care at all. Moreover, even if it was really abducted by Cloud Shinobi village, the other party will definitely keep Hyuga Hinata under strict supervision, and it will be even more difficult for Anbu sent out to obtain information. But Danzo's operation is to tell Sarutobi Hiruzen that Hyuga Hinata is dead. If the white eyes are also destroyed, then Sarutobi Hiruzen will not focus on Hinata again. His eyes were fixed on the candles on the table. After Danzo was stunned for a while, he sighed. Yo Hiruzen, for the future of Konoha village. I can only sacrifice you. Chapter 15. Hyuga Hinata, dead. Shimura Danzo is truly synonymous with the darkness of shinobi. What he did was crisp and clean. Shiroyasha hijacked Konoha village. Hyuga Hinata and rolled his eyes in the street. The news of Hinata's killing spread widely throughout the ninja world. Cloud Shinobi Village Raikage Office. The rough, dark-skinned 4th Raikage looked at the information fed back. The whole person can't believe it. The mere white Yaksha dared to openly provoke Konoha Village, one of the 5 kingdoms ninja villages. But immediately, he dismissed this ridiculous idea. Boom. There was a loud bang. The table in front of him was smashed to pieces. The sudden loud noise startled Raikage's secretary Azabui. Master Raikage, why are you so angry? Azabui doesn't quite understand 4th Raikage's behavior. This time it's about Shirayasha and Konoha village. Why is 4th Raikage still so angry? Damn white Yaksha, I get angry when I think of him. 4th Raikage snorted. A wandering swordsman has repeatedly provoked our ninja village of the 5 kingdoms. Do you really think we are soft persimmons? Especially when I think of Subai's outing task team against their Cloud Shinobi village. 4th Raikage was even more furious. Every time they went out to perform missions, the team was completely mutilated. Either a broken arm or a broken leg. What angered the Cloud Shinobi village ninjas the most was Bayasha didn't kill people, he just beat them to maim. As if they were specifically disgusting their Cloud Shinobi village ninjas. Master Raikage, no matter what, he is capable of destroying a small country with his own power. At the beginning, the team we sent to this country to carry out the mission wanted to arrest him. It was indeed a bit abrupt. Fortunately, he is no longer against us and has turned his attention to Konoha village. Speaking of which, it's also a good thing for us. Azabui tries to calm 4th Raikage down. At that time, their Cloud Shinobi village received a mission from this country to protect the princess of their country from leaving. But unexpectedly, as soon as the sent Cloud Shinobi village ninjas arrived at the scene, the country had already been destroyed. This failure to complete the task is a fatal stain on the ninja, and even on the ninja village. So the ninja sent out wanted to capture Subai to give Cloud Shinobi village an answer. Who wants to? The person was not caught, but was disgusted for a long time. Azabui. Is this amplifying the aspirations of others and destroying one's own prestige? 4th Raikage was even more annoyed. Facing such a manic Raikage, Secretary Mabui sighed and shook his head. Master Raikage. Our Cloud Shinobi village is now expanding by force, and the key is to continue to strengthen the fighting strength in the village. Why do you want to have the same knowledge as the people on the black market? What's more, wouldn't it be more beneficial for us if Shirayasha targeted Konoha village and brought trouble to Konoha village? Snort. Although 4th Raikage still couldn't vent the anger in his heart. But the words of the Secretary Mabui are indeed reasonable. Panting heavily, 4th Raikage picked up the information in his hand again. It's really a pity that this happened. If we can intercept the information that Shirayasha hijacked Hinata earlier, we can make a good deal with him. It's a pity to kill her, we can buy Hinata's white eyes at a high price. Snort. 4th Raikage snorted again. A person in the black market is a person in the black market, no matter how powerful he is still a guy with no level. In a dark cave. At this time, a group of strange guys gathered. Except for 2 people, everyone else is a vain figure of Madara. Pain. Let everyone know that White Yaksha killed Hyuga Hinata of Konoha village in the street. Deidara. Hinata. Who is it? Brother Scorpion, do you know him? Scorpion. HMPH. Of course I don't know the nameless person. Hidan. Nani. White Yaksha. Hidan's voice seems to be different from others. Deidara and Scorpion were just talking casually, but Hidan's voice was full of anger towards Subai. Hoshigaki Kisame. Humph. I heard that Shirayasha is very good at swordsmanship. I really want to fight him twice. Kakuzu. It's okay, it's not very strong, but it can cut off the heads of some stupid people. Hidan. Hey. Kakuzu, who are you talking about, idiot? Are you referring to me? Kakuzu fell silent without denying it. When he and Hidan were killing bounty criminals before, they had robbed Tsubai of business. The moment Kakuzu saw Tsubai, Kakuzu's original green eyes shot out a strange light. It's a pity because Hidan, an idiot, insisted on fighting Tsubai one-on-one, claiming to personally sacrifice the other party's soul to the evil god. As a result, Tsubai took the opportunity to run away. And Tsubai cut off Hidan's head while entering the different space. Kakuzu. If he took your head away on a whim back then, God wouldn't be able to save you. Deidara. I said, the people who destroyed this country were obviously me and Brother Scorpion. Why did White Yaksha do it? Doesn't it make us look stupid? Scorpion. Stupid. This way we can hide our identities. Those idiots in Cloud Shinobi Village really helped us. Everyone's discussion made Pain silent. I heard that Tsubai took action against the famous family in Konoha Village. A guy with such courage can cut off Hidan's head and get away. The strength is naturally good. Originally, I wanted Conan to recruit him to the Akatsuki organization. But judging by the attitudes of a few people, this seems to be very troublesome. Especially Kakuzu and Hidan. One had a vendetta of beheading, and the other just mentioned Tsubai, and the light from his eyes seemed to eat people. Pain had no choice but to dismiss this idea temporarily. Hidan. The next time I meet White Yaksha, I will sacrifice his soul to the evil god. I will definitely eat him. Kakuzu. You can't compete with me. Kakuzu. Idiot. Of the entire team, only Uchiha Itachi heard Tsubai kill Hinata. Silent. He looked paralyzed, not knowing what he was thinking. Chapter 16. Nara Shirju and Hasho 39's analysis. Danzo breaks into the conference room. In the meeting hall of Konoha Village. Everyone looked dignified. All of you here are basically prominent figures in Konoha Village. The patriarchs of all families are all present. That leaves elite Jonin of Konoha Village. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat in the front seat with a gloomy expression on his face. Utatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura beside him also looked sad. In general, the atmosphere at the meeting was quite depressing. Have you all heard about Hinata? Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke first. There is a hint of anger between the words. He was caught off guard by how fast things were changing. The elite Anbu sent to Cloud Shinobi Village in the Land of Thunder have yet to gain a foothold. Before the investigation even started, it was heard that Shirayasha brutally killed Hinata on the spot in a black market in the Land of Fire. As soon as Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his mouth, Hyuga Hiyashi lowered his head slightly, his gloomy face was full of murderous intent. Yu Hahong was even more dumbfounded, and tears welled up immediately. She blamed herself very much. It's all her fault. It would have been better if I had changed the route to the country of tea and hadn't met Shiroyasha. Hyuga Hinata won't be murdered either. Damn White Yaksha, you are too arrogant. Sarutobi Hiruzen trembled with anger. This obviously does not give them Konoha Village a little face. With him, a wandering swordsman on the black market, he openly provoked Konoha Village. It is really intolerable. However, in such a depressing situation, Nara, who is the think tank of Konoha Village and the captain of Konoha Village Jonin, suddenly said, Master Third Hokage. I always feel that this thing is a little weird. Weird. Nara Shirjo's words made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel refreshed. For a split second, even Hyuga Hiyashi seemed to be a little more refreshed. Lu Ju. How do you feel about this matter? The aging Utatane Kaharu looked at Nara Shikuhisa with narrowed eyes. She wanted to hear Lu Ju's opinion. After all, dignified Konoha Village was treated like this by a wandering swordsman, and it really made them lose face. First of all, after Kurenai Yuhi came back and reported everything, Lord Third Generation immediately sent Anbu to track down Hinata's whereabouts. But not long after, Hinata died in the black market in the Land of Fire. It's such a coincidence. What's more, Based on what I know about Shirayasha, he usually disappears like a ghost. The place where it appears the most is also in the gold exchange places in the ninja world. And Bai Yasha, who has a reward of more than 300 million yuan, was originally a thorn in the eyes of others. Even the gold exchange place he went to was not fixed. This also shows his caution, but why did he suddenly persecute Hinata in the street? This is really not in line with his long-standing style of behavior. Sarutobi Hiruzen let out a long breath. Nara Shirjo's speech made him suddenly enlightened. His face finally calmed down. After pondering for a few seconds, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and said, "What Lu Ju said makes sense. There are obviously a lot of problems in this. According to your speculation, is it another illusion created by Cloud Shinobi Village to confuse us?" Whether it was done by Cloud Shinobi Village, Nara Shirju also has some doubts. According to gossip, Cloud Shinobi Village has indeed had some contact with any force for the development of armaments in recent years. Su Bai, who had been looking for trouble for Cloud Shinobi Village, suddenly turned around to help Cloud Shinobi Village. It always feels a little strange. As a bounty criminal who doesn't even care about big names, can he really help Cloud Shinobi Village for money? Then again, Su Bai has always made a living killing bounty criminals, and the rewards he gets are much higher than those for S-level missions. He probably doesn't care about money. More importantly, the country that he wiped out was a small country, but it was not poor. If it's really for money, why not just give this country a name? In other words, Su Bai took away the property of this country and then destroyed their country. Overall, it is obvious that Su Bai is not short of money. Then comes the problem. As a sworn enemy, what good could Cloud Shinobi Village do to Su Bai to cause him to take such a big risk against Konoha Village? Moreover, the fact that Su Bai mentioned by Sarutobi Hiruzen as a Cloud Shinobi Village ninja and that Cloud Shinobi Village directed and acted on its own is even more unreasonable. After all, it was Cloud Shinobi Village that took over the mission of this country. As a ninja village of the 5 great nations, Cloud Shinobi Village has not had the guts to create a false identity for Su Bai to hold Hinata hostage at the cost of destroying the entire country of his employer. Once things are exposed, then Cloud Shinobi Village really has no place to stand. For regular ninjas, the concept of protecting daimyo from various countries is still deeply rooted. No matter which country's daimyo it is, without them to provide funds, the ninjas in Ninja Village simply don't have time to practice. If it is not strong, it will naturally be invaded by other ninja villages. Not only daimyo, even those rich people in the ninja world, regular ninjas will not conflict with them. Even be very polite to them. I think. Lu Ju paused. Master Third Hokage, I think Shiroyasha's behavior is purely personal. It has nothing to do with Cloud Shinobi Village. Then he shared his analysis with everyone. However, just as he finished speaking, there was a bang. The door of the meeting room was pushed open violently. Shimura Danzo, who covered half of his face, walked in slowly, leaning on a cane. Chapter 17. Danzo. Please call me the Monkey Man. Picture. Happy New Year, big guys, close black lens bracket. Sarutobi Hiruzen is lamenting that the years are not forgiving. A moment of tension. He even ignored the relationship between the ninja and the daimyo. It is rash to attribute Hinata's matter to Cloud Shinobi Village. Fortunately, Nara has been around for a long time, so he really didn't let him lose more people. But Danzo's sudden intrusion made Sarutobi Hiruzen a little uncomfortable. Just glanced at Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, "Oh. It's Danzo, what do you want?" Snort. Danzo naturally noticed the look in Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes, and couldn't help but groaned in his heart. Since the Uchiha incident, the gap between the two has become stronger and stronger. But Danzo didn't care either. After all, in his heart, Sarutobi Hiruzen is just an old man dying. Lu Ju. Are you overconfident? Did you really think that those guys at Cloud Shinobi Village wouldn't do such a thing just to keep their eyes off? Danzo has a cold and stern exterior. But the heart has already blossomed with joy. God help him. Shimura Danzo, Unexpectedly, Nara Shikaku's remarks have already wiped out the matter of Cloud Shinobi Village. It's just that the play has to be sung. At least everyone here knows that Danzo is the main combat faction. If he speaks for Cloud Shinobi Village, he will look a little strange. Right in Danzo's arms. Everyone frowned slightly after hearing Danzo's remarks. Especially Nara Shikahisa. The corners of his mouth twitched a few times, and Luju stood up and said, "Master Danzo, do you still need to speculate on this kind of thing for a long time? You should also be clear that if Cloud Shinobi Village really does this, once it is exposed, it will not be his and our Konoha's business. This kind of behavior offends the entire ninja world and all people with status. Not only do they have to face the crusade of all ninja villages, but they also have to face the lack of funds. Without the help of daimyo and those noble people's funds, their village itself will perish. It's an act of suicide. Dear for a long time." Danzo was about to show off, but Sarutobi Hiruzen yelled, "Danzo, what Luju said is not wrong. Stop pouring misfortune on Cloud Shinobi Village again." "Very good." Sarutobi Hiruzen's scolding made Danzo even more happy. As expected of Hiruzen, always playing against me. But this time, I won. Snort. Danzo glared at Luju, pretending to be sensible and kept silent about Cloud Shinobi Village. He exchanged a tit-for-tat look with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Danzo turned around and was about to leave. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen stopped him at this time. "Danzo yo. Did you come here just to talk about this when you have nothing to do? This way of pretending to show weakness is still very useful." Danzo is very clear that the reason why Sarutobi Hiruzen said this is to remind him not to get involved in too many things. Now he is no longer the assistant of Hokage back then. Be aware of your identity at all times. Hiruzen, you're getting old. If you had listened to me back then and continued to subdue other ninja villages, the Konoha village family would dominate and no one would dare to bully us. You were really naive. The rhythm is good. Danzo was as seamless as ever. It was as if the interaction with Sarutobi Hiruzen never changed. He can guess what expression Sarutobi Hiruzen will make in the next moment. Ho 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 ho. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a sip of his pipe and let out a few hearty laughs. Then he said with a serious expression, "If we do that, there will only be more sacrifices in Konoha village for no reason. It is impossible for a single family to dominate. This is what it looks like." Danzo is not surprised, and so are all the people sitting here. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo have been going head-to-head like this for many years. It is not clear whether the two are considered partners or have some other relationship. But Danzo changed the subject and said with a long breath, "Anyway, I got some information about Shirayasha from the black market." As soon as these words came out, everyone was startled. Kurenai Yuhi took the lead, and asked emotionally, "Master Danzo, what did the intelligence say?" All look forward to Danzo's intel. Hyuga Hiyashi was even more nervous and felt a hot current in his throat. Silence for a while. Danzo's eyes showed a little desolation. "I just heard that Bayasha has a tyrannical personality, and those caught by him are tortured very miserable. I don't need to say more about the specific situation, all of you here should know it. Hiruzen, how to deal with this matter is up to you, Hokage, to decide." After saying these few words, Shimura Danzo no longer cared about the pale Yuhihong. Immediately swagger away. It's just that his words made everyone's faces change suddenly. Although Shimura Danzo is the main combat faction, everyone knows about the black market, and indeed no one can play it better than him. Hiruzen. Although Danzo may not sound good when he speaks. But I think he's also working for Konoha village. Look. Udatane Kaharu and Mitokado Homura looked at each other. For this old friend of Yuhi, they still selectively believed in Shimura Danzo. What Danzo said also left a lot of leeway for himself. He just lied and told everyone about Tsubai's alleged character behavior. But he didn't define anything specific. The rest, that is, these guys here have discussed and decided. Even if things change by then, it has nothing to do with him, Danzo. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed weakly and said, "No wonder I heard Hong said that the bounty criminal was so frightened that he lost control just by hearing the word White Yasha. Perhaps Danzo is really right." Chapter 18. Hinata, are you a rebellious apprentice? In Hokage's office, Sarutobi Hiruzen has calmed down. With a swipe of his pen, he gave an order. Subai's bounty increased again by 500 million taels. Ninja Most Wanted Criminal, White Yasha. His real name is Subai, and the reward amount is 800 million taels. This is obviously Sarutobi Hiruzen's psychological comfort to Hyuga Hiyashi. Not to mention being hijacked during a mission, even if a ninja is killed on the spot, it is commonplace. So Sarutobi Hiruzen can fill in another 500 million taels. It's just a number. As the third Hokage who has held the power of Konoha for a long time, wouldn't he be unclear about the direction of the matter? If Yu Hahong's report is true, just relying on that weird space-time ninjutsu, Konoha village cannot capture Subai. What's more, Subai is charged with killing the daimyo of this country, and a reward of 300 million taels is offered. After so many years, he still looks chic outside. Of course, Hyuga Hiyashi knew it very well. Before Sarutobi Hiruzen would pay so much attention to it, it was also because of the problem of white eyes. If it was someone from the Hyuga branch house who was hijacked, they would not be worried at all. For a sane ninja, this is a very normal thing to do. Perhaps only those innocent children would yell and tell right from wrong. Master Third Hokage, if you have information about Shirayasha, please let me know as soon as possible. Yu Hihong is still reluctant. It's not that she doesn't understand the rules of ninjas, but she just can't accept and agree with them in her heart. This matter involved her personal feelings. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't speak, and looked out the window with his hands on his back. On the street far away, a blonde-haired boy was grinning and competing with a black-haired boy. There was also a girl with sakura-colored hair standing beside the two of them, with her teeth and claws on her face. Call. Take the bong out of your mouth. Sarutobi Hiruzen had a slight smile on his face. Red. Don't worry about this. People in the village still need to live a normal life. We can't give up everyone just because of Shirayasha and Hinata. Don't forget, you still have Ya and Shino by your side. But. Don't forget that you are a ninja from Konoha village. After a while, I will find another suitable person to join the 8th squad led by you. You go back first. Sarutobi Hiruzen still didn't look back. But this resolute attitude made Yu Hihong bit her lips unwillingly. I see. Then turned and left. Exit the Hokage office building. Yu Hihong's pretty face was gloomy, and there was infinite anger in her beautiful eyes. According to Danzo's intelligence and everyone's analysis, they generally think that they were targeted by Subai when Yu Hihong led the 8th squad to capture Wunchnale in the country of stone. And the reason for being targeted is because Hinata is cuter, and may be able to satisfy Shirayasha's tyrannical character. Immediately they were followed all the way, and when the time was right, Subai hijacked Hinata. Thinking of the picture of Hinata being abused, Yu Hihong gritted her teeth with hatred. White Yasha, you must not fall into my hands. Ah choo. Ah. Is that beauty thinking of me? Wrinkling his nose, Subai stood up and walked out of the house. At this time, Hyuga Hinata is squatting next to the cleared land. Carefully plant the strawberry seedlings. Blah blah. Hinata was also very careful when he patted the soil, as if he was afraid of accidents in the middle. Seeing that the seedlings had been planted, she pounced on her chest and wiped her sweat. Turn the head again and sprinkle the fertilizer, and pour the appropriate water. Very good. After everything was over, Hinata did not forget to encourage herself. Staring at the planted strawberry seedlings, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Open black lens bracket ding, close black lens bracket. Strawberry seedlings are planted. Congratulations to host for getting a small amount of chakra to grow up, close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for gaining a small increase in the upper limit of physical skills, close black lens bracket. Fruit bearing time, 3 days. Close black lens bracket. 3 days. The sound of the system made Subai feel a little surprised. But when I think about it, it makes sense. If it is really planted according to normal vegetation and fruit. Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed by Orochimaru and could not bear fruit. As for the degree of reward, Subai doesn't care either. After all, planting a strawberry seedling is not so difficult. To be rewarded has exceeded his expectations. The rest is a matter of Hinata's strength. As for whether the Chunin exam can go smoothly, Subai wasn't worried at all. For Subai, who has read the original book repeatedly, when this group of people push their butts, he knows what the other party wants to fart. The Chunin exam is sure to take place. One is that as a Konoha village among the 5 major ninja villages, face is very important. Sarutobi Hiruzen also intends to invite famous and wealthy people from all over the world to watch the battle. Demonstrate the strength of the Konoha shinobi so that the opponent can feed better in the future. The second is Danzo. After all, Danzo wants Sarutobi Hiruzen to die, and he will definitely not let go of this opportunity. As long as these 2 people have the idea of starting the Chunin exam, even if the sky falls, they will not stop. Ah! An exclamation woke up Subai, and Subai turned to look at Hinata. But I saw Hinata rubbing her little hands habitually, looking at a loss. Teacher Subai, you are awake. Stop. As soon as Hinata called her teacher, Subai trembled all over. This name is not very good. Hinata was taken aback when he heard that. I feel a little wronged in my heart. She was just expressing her respect for Subai. After all, the other party said that she would be specially trained to make her stronger. Could it be? Has the other party backed down again? Are you a rebellious apprentice? Just when Hinata was feeling uncomfortable, Subai's rhetorical question made her freeze again. After thinking for a few seconds, she replied in a panic, I'm definitely not, definitely not. Me. Being called a rebellious apprentice, Hinata couldn't accept it. This is clearly insulting her personality. I will definitely not do something disrespectful to the teacher. Hinata's eyes were closed tightly. Even though she was so nervous, she had to make a stand on her personality. She would never do such immoral things. Oh. Even Master Chong doesn't take the initiative, so forget it. You'd better call me Mr. Subai didn't say anything more. He waved his hand and turned his head before walking towards the house. Only Hinata was left standing there alone in a daze. This time, she really didn't understand. Chapter 19. Do you have the heart to torture such a kind Hinata? Hyuga Hinata thought about Subai's words for a long time. But the whole night, she didn't seem to understand. But I had breakfast the next day. Subai actually took the initiative to take her to start special training. Seeing this, Hinata blushed excitedly. Yes. Subai. Mr. Subai. He looked at Hinata, who was ready to go, with an extremely serious expression. Subai didn't show any special expression. The space was distorted, and the purple-black portal appeared in front of Hinata again. Come and take my hand, or you won't get through. Subai beckoned. Seeing this, Hinata hesitated. Holding Subai's hand. This kind of affectionate behavior seems a little embarrassing. Hinata was in a dilemma and didn't know what to do. It's up to you to go or not. It's such a trivial matter. Do you still want to be recognized? Do you still want to be recognized? This sentence directly hit Hinata's heart. Sure enough, the man in front of him knew his heart. You. Hinata looked at Subai with some suspicion. Why are you helping me? She finally asked out the doubts in her heart. It doesn't seem easy to get help from others for no reason. Now Hyuga Hinata's mind suddenly cleared. Not to mention the identity of the other party. It's been a long time, and I'm lonely alone. Is it a reason to see you playful on a whim? It's meaningless to talk nonsense. I'll give you 3 seconds to think about it. 1. Hinata also didn't expect Subai to speak so crisply. The countdown began without giving her any time to think about it. It's really not gentle. Even if 2 snapped. As soon as Subai yelled, "Chew," he felt his palm being firmly grasped. When I looked at Hinata again, I found that her eyelids were trembling and her eyes were tightly closed. It's as if you can't see it, things don't happen. HMPH. Isn't this very good? Subai smiled slightly and led Hinata into the portal. Of course, Subai cannot be blamed for some things. For a soft character like Hinata, some tough measures are sometimes needed. Bear Swarm Yamanaka. A purple-black light appeared out of thin air. The next moment, Subai pulled Hinata out of the portal. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Feeling Subai let go of his hand, Hinata tremblingly opened his eyes. But in the next second, a pungent smell of blood slipped into her nose. The unpleasant smell made Hinata frown, and his face suddenly became ugly. Boom. Bang bang bang. Kill. I haven't waited to deal with the doubts caused by the smell. Hinata heard the explosion of detonating symbols in the distance. And the clashing sound of kunai shuriken. Besides, the screams of people. This is. Following the gaze, Hinata's legs trembled in shock from the sight in front of him. With a plop, he sat on the ground. The northern fortress of Kalyan village belongs to the fierce battle zone of the war. Subai was calm. The tragic situation under the mountain did not affect him at all. War. These two terms are no strangers to Hinata. I also heard Iruka talk about it when I was in school. There have been 3 fierce battles in the ninja world. Many ninjas died. The fact that their generation can live in peace today is inseparable from the sacrifices and efforts of the previous generations. But the following scene is too scary. Hinata's lips quivered slightly. He was so nervous that his voice was a little offline. Now, isn't it an era of peace? The era of peace is nothing but the ninja village for your 5 major nations. Like these small countries, their survival resources are extremely scarce. As a last resort, we can only rely on war to plunder the resources of neighboring countries. Subai paused, as if lost in thought. After a few breaths, he opened his mouth slowly, and his tone changed slightly. Hinata felt that Subai seemed to be shrouded in a sense of desolation. I once knew a friend from Kalyan village. Both she and her mother have a special ability, just like your white eyes. However, their abilities are more used for medical recovery. Just bite them hard, and the wounded can be healed. When my friend was 7 or 8, her mother died. Having said that, Subai looked a little lonely. All of this was seen by Hinata, and for a moment, she also felt a kind of sadness. He was bitten to death by someone. Boom. It's just that Subai's next word struck Hinata as if struck by lightning. A living person, but was bitten to death. What a terrible thing this is. But the other party didn't feel guilty about it. My mother left, and my friend continued to serve the wounded ninjas in Kalyan village. My friend has no choice but has been working hard for them. What do you think is the reason why she worked so hard to help Kalyan village? The sudden change made Hinata feel a little overwhelmed. After being stunned for a long time, she murmured, "Is it for the village?" That's right. She and her mother were not from Kalyan village. Just living in Kalyan village. So the other party has been using the excuse that people who are not from Kalyan village to be unfaithful to oppress their mother and daughter. And they also want to get the approval of Kalyan village, and desperately help the wounded. In the end, all of them were bitten to death. No one will recognize them until death. Finally finished the story of Shongalin. Subai let out a long breath. It seems embarrassing to coax Hinata like this. But it doesn't matter. After all, Hinata has a good heart, and she must believe in this story very much. Believe it or not, her slightly lowered eyes contained sympathy for Shongalin's experience. Take advantage of the situation and pursue. Subai went on to add, wanting to be recognized as very illusory in the first place. You can't always expect to be approved by so-and-so. You just need to do what you should do well, and when you are strong in all aspects, people around you will naturally recognize you. Recognition requires the initiative of others. Looking forward to someone's approval like you will never get it. For Hinata, these words were full of blows. For a moment, her little head drooped even lower. Just like you, it's definitely not good to start dejected after 1 or 2 sentences. Do I have to praise you every time? Does it mean that if you praise you or say a few beautiful words, you will be able to survive down here? Don't forget, you are a ninja. Boom. As soon as Subai finished speaking, the roar of the detonating talisman came from afar again. And the wailing and crying of those who were bombed. Then what should I do? Since you tell me this, there must be a way. Hinata looked expectantly at Subai. Of course she still hopes to be recognized by others. I don't want to be as cowardly as I used to be, and I don't want to be called an unwanted Hyuga member by my father. Seeing this, Subai slowly sat down and pointed to the distant battlefield. Look with your white eyes. You can see more clearly with your white eyes, until you see those dilapidated corpses that don't vomit or look a little calm. We'll move on to the next step. Chapter 20. The White Yaksha in Action. It's time for dinner. Subai returned home with Hinata, who had no blood on his face. As soon as your feet touch the ground. Hinata almost fell to the ground. That bloody scene really made her unforgettable for a long time. Not to mention the corpses all over the ground, there are more people's severed limbs. The mutilated corpse made Hinata feel nauseated. Mr. Subai. I feel like I'm dying. Hinata was about to say something more, but suddenly covered his mouth. After Subai saw this, he didn't hesitate. Grabbed Hinata directly and took it to the bathroom. Subai. After vomiting, please take a good rest. Subai left a few words, but he didn't seem to want to help Hinata at all. He himself is very clear. At this time, we must grasp the strength. Can't do something that ruins the current relationship. The so-called Asahi gentleness should also be divided into tasks and time, and should be used wisely. What's more, according to Hinata's personality, if she starts to gradually look up to Subai, then she will be miserable. Oops. Little girl, you are miserable, you are in love. Mr. Subai. Where are you going? Feel the strangeness coming from behind. Hinata turned her head to look, only to find that the portal appeared again. This proves that Subai wants to go out. For a while, little Hinata was a little nervous. This guy doesn't intend to leave me alone here to starve to death. I have something to do, I'll be back in a while. If you feel better, get yourself something to eat, and if you don't want to eat, go to bed early. Finished talking. Without waiting for Hinata to speak, Subai's figure slowly disappeared. The bottomless portal disappeared at the same time. Hinata. The portal connecting the home space also has a special function. That is, as long as Subai has been to a place, he can be directly teleported from his homeland. By the time Subai showed up, he had already arrived in the land of waves. Standing on the half-built bridge, Subai frowned slightly. There was a faint light in the room in the distance. With Subai's vision, he can clearly see the people walking back and forth in the house. Dasna, why are you still here? In recent years, Subai as a wandering swordsman is not doing nothing. In order to facilitate future travel, he has traveled around most of the ninja world on foot. It's just that he didn't have a chance to enter places like those places where the investigation is relatively strict. It's like the ninja village of the 5 great nations. When Subai was given the task of training Hinata to excel in the Chunin exam. I've been thinking about timing issues. It is certain that Hinata cannot be sent back when the Chunin exam begins. At that time the day Lily was cold. Not to mention, even sending Hinata back. Is it true that the guys in Konoha village just eat dry food? Hyuga Hinata is going to face scrutiny, that's for sure. After staring for a long time, Subai disappeared again. When it appeared next time, it had already come to a deserted street. Pushing open the dilapidated door, Subai walked into the room. Opening the mechanism on the wall, a dark underground passage suddenly appeared in front of him. There is another room at the end of the passage. Continue to push the door and enter, and this room is actually a bar-like place. It's just that the area is quite small. In the house, there were only 3 or 2 big and 3 rough guys sitting there. Drinking wine bored in the house. White Yasha. Seeing Su-bai enter, several people were taken aback for a moment. Then he laughed mischievously. It's been a long time since we saw each other. Master Bayasha came this time and wanted us to help you investigate something. No excessive nonsense. Su-bai put a photo and several wads of money on the table. Get someone to stare at the old man in the picture. Until he goes to Konoha village. Also, after he came out of Konoha village, anyone who followed him had to tell me. Old man. The person in the photo is the dishonor that Su-bai had photographed before. Several people glanced at the photo and collected the money. Although a little curious, they didn't talk too much. There are many guys in the black market who provide people with various information. Those who eat this food should ask and should not ask, and should say and should not say, they all understand. The most important thing is, just collect money and work. After seeing Su-bai left, several people breathed a sigh of relief. As expected of a man with a bounty of 800 million taels, I'm so overwhelmed that I can't breathe. However, Bayasha gives a lot of money each time. It would be great if he came to us a few more times, and we still use it in the black market. Okay, let's help Bayasha complete this vote, and we can be chic for another whole year. By the way, I remember who he asked us to investigate a year ago. Cut. Your memory is really bad, that gambler, the legendary fat sheep. Besides, I heard that the two started fighting because of a bet. I don't know what Bayasha did. The woman was so angry that she almost kicked the whole street, and Bayasha was so scared that she ran away. Did you run away in fright? How did I hear them say that Bayasha blew a mocking kiss to that woman before leaving? Okay, don't talk about it, it has nothing to do with us. If you talk too much, you will get lost. Clean up, let's go to Konoha village to stay. Chapter 21. Hinata. Lord Shiroyasha, I think this is right. When Su-bai came back, he found that a light meal had already been set on the table in the room. Maybe it's because of Hinata's bad mental state, she has already gone back to the house to rest. I tasted it casually. Su-bai nodded in satisfaction. This little girl's craftsmanship is really good. As a ninja, he doesn't have talent, so he focuses all his talent on cooking. What nonsense are you talking about? People call her a good wife at home. The reason why Su-bai seems to be struggling to obtain Dazna's information. He needs to determine the approximate time of the Chunin exam through Dazna's actions. If nothing unexpected happens, Dazna will seek refuge in Konoha village because of Kato's threats. And the team protecting Dazna is the 7th squad led by Hitaki Kakashi. After completing this task, there is still less than a month left. Konoha village will officially start the Wood Sand Joint Chunin exam. And Su-bai is well aware that the 7th squad led by Hitaki Kakashi is the last squad to go out on a mission for the first time. After all, there is a special existence among them, Uzumaki Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen would not let Naruto go out without making up his mind. Of course, even under the influence of Hinata's kidnapping, it doesn't involve Dazna going to Konoha village to ask for help. It doesn't matter if Squad 7 protects him or not, as long as Dazna gets to Konoha village. Then Su-bai had to rush to find a way to send Hyuga Hinata back to Konoha village. It feels a bit tight. Finish the simple meal on the table. Su-bai tidied up roughly, then walked towards the hot spring room. Anyway, there are still 2 days left, and I am quite looking forward to getting some rewards. In the next 2 days, Su-bai still took Hinata to the northern stronghold of Kauyan village to watch the battle between the two sides. Hinata was really dizzy watching it. But after a long time, she got used to it a little bit. No more embarrassment like the first day. It was finally dinner time after watching the war scenes for 3 days. Hinata wobbled out from the portal. This time, she managed to stand still. Hey. Thinking of his accomplishments in the past 2 days, Hinata chuckled with satisfaction. What are you laughing at? Anything funny? Do you think you're doing well? Are you any different from the first day before? I haven't made any progress at all, so I'm embarrassed to laugh. Before Hinata could finish her fun, Tsubai's chattering accusations came from behind her. Hinata himself was dumbfounded by this accusation. What happened? Did Mr. Tsubai eat explosives today? Why did the mood suddenly become so irritable? 3 questions linger in Hinata's mind. Her little brain couldn't digest it at all. Hold. Sorry. I got carried away. After being scolded, Hinata lowered her head dejectedly. He stared at the floor erratically, motionless. So you are still the same, and you don't even want to change. Tsubai's last words were strongly opposed by Hinata. But when Hinata suddenly raised his head, he found that Tsubai was staring at him. It was the first time she saw Tsubai's serious and indifferent eyes. Frightened for a moment, he involuntarily stepped back a few steps. He crossed his hands over his chest as if for self-protection. The white eyes that couldn't help trembling fluctuated up and down. There was fear in his eyes. Hinata didn't know where to turn her gaze. The crossed hands couldn't stop trembling. Snort. Seeing this, Tsubai snorted coldly. Then why did I just comment a few words on you, and you yourself denied all the hard work in the past 3 days? Do you still need me to define the changes you have experienced through the ordeal? Don't you feel it yourself? Woo 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 woo. Tsubai's words completely confused Hinata. Is this an accusation or a compliment? So you think you've changed and improved? Have. Hinata whispered softly. His eyes turned to Tsubai quietly. Only then did I realize that the other party's eyes were more fierce than before. Have. The sound is slightly louder. But Tsubai's eyes still had a fierce look. Have. He gritted his teeth and stomped his feet. Hyuga Hinata rolled her eyes at Tsubai in return. It can be regarded as giving the other party a big blank stare. The room suddenly fell silent. The two sides stared at each other for a while. Tsubai's eyes suddenly softened, and then he smiled and touched Hinata's little head. Congratulations on your graduation, we can proceed to the next training program. The sudden tenderness really flattered Hinata. Does this represent the approval of Mr. Tsubai? Just when Hinata was in a daze, Tsubai said with a smile, you must have this kind of self-confidence. Let others say what they say. Only you know yourself. Just like me. If it's true what the other party said, can I still live? Ah. Tsubai's words got Hinata excited. A person as powerful as Mr. Tsubai, will anyone say anything about you? Too much. For example, bastard, devil, damn it, a stray dog without a home. The one whose head fell to the ground and bit my neck off with his teeth. There's even something more hateful, saying that I'm a little ghost. Look at Tsubai's indignant look when he mentioned the last item. Hinata's face turned a little rosy. Although she didn't say anything, she felt that what the man said seemed to make sense. Especially when she thought of the memory of when she was stuck in the hole in the wall, she even wanted to raise her hands in agreement. The only difference is that for Hinata, Tsubai is older than her. As long as the word, small, is removed, it will be very vivid. Chapter 22. The suffering Hyuga Hinata. The next day, Hyuga Hinata looked surprised. The strawberries planted actually bear fruit. What's even more weird is the seedlings she planted on the land that she has tossed for a long time. But only 7 strawberries came out. Eat it. Tsubai handed the strawberries to Hinata. But Hinata is really embarrassed. No, there are only 7 in total. And is it because I made a mistake in the operation that I only ended up with this point? Sorry, it's my first time growing strawberries too. Now Hinata feels sorry for Tsubai. But Tsubai was very satisfied in his heart. If you eat this kind of thing, you will be rewarded. No more precious than gold. It would be nice to have 7. And the wait for the next batch is long. It takes a full 3 months. It doesn't matter. If you don't eat it, we can't proceed to the next step of special training. This sentence made Hinata even more puzzled. Does eating strawberries affect training? But now that Tsubai has said so, Hinata no longer insists. Just grab one and pop it into your mouth. Very sweet. Feel the sweetness of strawberries in your mouth. Hinata had a look of delighted satisfaction on his face. But the next moment, she felt bursts of heat coming from her abdomen. The sudden pain also distorted her face. Well, Mr. Tsubai, my stomach hurts. But Tsubai didn't answer Hinata's words. At this moment, he is listening to the sound of the system. Open black lens bracket. Hyuga Hinata takes the first strawberry. Close black lens bracket. The upper limit of physical skills has been greatly increased. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. The upper limit of chakra has grown a lot. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to Hyuga Hinata for learning ninjutsu. Gentle fist method. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Adaptive. Open black lens bracket. Congratulations to Hyuga Hinata for learning ninjutsu. 8 trigrams air palm. Adaptive. Congratulations to Hyuga Hinata for learning ninjutsu. 8 trigrams palms. Revolving heaven. Adaptive. The home pass is being engraved. Home pass. For this new term, Tsubai made a special study. Open black lens bracket. Home pass. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Under the condition that the host does not close the home transmission channel, the first servant only Hyuga Hinata can use the home pass to travel between the home and the present world at will. Cannot bring other people. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. And the host can open the portal according to the location of Hyuga Hinata and reach her side precisely. Close black lens bracket. Friendly reminder. People who are taking homegrown or farmed ingredients. Close black lens bracket. Including its own original or later acquired power, including self-cultivation, the host will obtain a small amount of power or random power in return. While the host gains power, it will not have any impact on the other party. Close black lens bracket. Part of the acquired power can be exchanged for the growth of the host's upper limit of physical skills and upper limit of chakra if it is not needed. Close black lens bracket. Tsubai. This is interesting. I always feel that what eats me is my person. Watching Hinata sweating profusely from the pain, Tsubai then felt a little strange. The ninjutsu rewards obtained should be adaptive. In other words, there shouldn't be such a painful expression at all. Hyuga Hinata. How is this going? Are you okay, Hinata? Tsubai was very calm. Looking at Hinata's appearance, he should be enduring some kind of persistent pain. But at least, does not affect life. Hinata gritted her teeth. Stubbornly endured the pain and said, I feel a burning sensation in my abdomen. Belly burning. Tsubai suddenly realized when he heard the words. It's over. Hyuga Hinata is afraid to be in this life. It seemed that the imprint of the home pass was branded on her abdomen. The burning sensation was not inside the abdominal cavity, but the surface of the burning skin. This is, quite strange. Tsubai touched the tip of his nose in embarrassment. At this point the work of the system is finally complete. The imprint of the home pass has been engraved. Close black lens bracket. After one sentence, the system went completely silent. At this time, Hinata opened his eyes suddenly. His bright white eyes blinked slightly. It doesn't hurt anymore. Perhaps it is because the energy is drawn by the pain. Hinata didn't even feel the change in herself. She looked at the apologetic Tsubai strangely, and asked in confusion, what's wrong? Mr. Tsubai. Oh, right. Can we proceed to the next stage of special training? Tsubai. Oh. My dear Hyuga Hinata, what a cutie, don't you realize the seriousness of the matter? But Tsubai really didn't know that eating the kind of strawberries that can make people get rewards will also have the additional function of home pass. He must not be blamed for this incident. Chapter 23. Tsubai and Hasho 39's reward, the blackened holy sword. See, Hinata has fully recovered. Tsubai nodded and said, calm down now and feel the changes in yourself. Hinata feels more and more that Tsubai is a bit strange today. What he said was also a little strange. But then think about it. She finally realized the truth. It must be that Mr. Tsubai is preparing for the next special training. Without further ado, Hyuga Hinata closed her eyes slightly agitated. This feeling made her jump up on the spot in fright. How so? I'm actually so much stronger than before. What exactly is this? Hyuga Hinata looked at Tsubai in horror. It was really a surprise. The main thing is that this thing is too weird. Don't get excited. It's just a secret. Secret method. Tsubai's explanation made Hinata somewhat unacceptable. She just ate a strawberry, but she gained such terrifying power. Of course it was very scary for her. 8 trigrams air palms, 8 trigrams 64 palms, and even the absolute defense of the Hyuga clan 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven. She didn't even know what happened. There is such a clear picture in my mind. It was as if she could use these moves if she wanted to. As expected of the white-eyed eldest lady of the Hyuga clan, you will turn your back on her and deny her recognition. Do you want to be a white-eyed wolf? He looked at Hinata in shock, with a puzzled and even a little panic expression on his face. Tsubai snorted coldly. No 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 no. That was not what I meant. I mean, I'm not dreaming. Hinata quickly waved her hand to indicate that Tsubai misunderstood her. She was just shocked by this incredible thing. Then you should pinch your face hard, and if you feel the pain, you will know if you are dreaming. Tsubai said casually, and handed her a strawberry by the way. Here, try another one. As the chief servant, Hyuga Hinata's rewards are indeed quite generous. But Tsubai wasn't particularly surprised. These 3 moves. Hinata was able to acquire 8 trigrams 64 palms and 8 trigrams air palms through her own efforts after 3 years. But revolving heaven, she won't in the end. Instead, he learned his own set of guardians, 8 trigrams 64 palms, to replace revolving heaven. But to be honest, this trick is not a few grades worse than revolving heaven. And it's useless. Of course, the most important thing is the improvement of the upper limit of physical skills and the upper limit of chakra. This is the existence that can control the effect of ninjutsu. Hyuga Hinata is very clever, seeing Tsubai handing the strawberry to himself again. It is clear that the so-called secret method is related to this thing. Seemingly forgetting the burning of her skin before, she took it again. Open black lens bracket. Hyuga Hinata takes the second strawberry. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to Hyuga Hinata for getting a small increase in the upper limit of chakra and an increase in the upper limit of physical skills. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for getting a small amount of chakra upper limit increase and physical skill upper limit increase. Close black lens bracket. A small amount. Trace. Sure enough, it is impossible to continue the violent superposition. Huh. There's no pain this time. Hinata was slightly taken aback, with a silly smile on his face. Tsubai. Good guy. It seems that Hyuga Hinata is still very persistent in improving his strength. Even though he knew that he might be tortured by the previous pain, he still chose to bear it. The performance is good. Ahem. It seems that if you continue to use it, it won't have much effect. If you want to feel your current strength, go to the yard and sweat. I'm going to pass a letter to my old acquaintance so that he can prepare for our next special training. After listening to the special training, Hinata suddenly became energetic. Mr. Tsubai, where are we going? An isolated island in the sea that cannot be found on the map. It is an entertainment place where rich people gather. After listening to Tsubai's introduction, Hinata was a little discouraged. Are we going to play? Of course not. That's all right. I have to get ready. You can move freely in the yard by yourself. Tsubai drives Hinata out of the room. Judging by her appearance, it seems that she hasn't found out about the home pass yet. Really unresponsive. Of course, Tsubai is not worried about her running away at all. Even if she is driven away now, she may not be able to leave. Not to mention that if you really want to run, you can catch it back if you catch it. He simply didn't even bother to close the passageway to his home. Go back to the study. Tsubai swallowed a strawberry herself. Open black lens bracket. Host takes the first strawberry. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for getting an extra chakra upper limit increase. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to host for obtaining an increase in the upper limit of ultra quantity physical skills. Close black lens bracket. Congratulations to the host for receiving the reward, blackening. Oath of Victory sword including a set of armor, adaptive ability. Close black lens bracket. Tsubai. Excalibur. Chapter 24. What is the status of ninjas in the ninja world? Fog shrouded the sea in the middle of the night. Due to the need to communicate with Hinata about some situations. This time Tsubai did not directly choose to go to the island on the sea through the portal. Instead, I chose to go by boat. This is Hinata's first time traveling by boat. I was a little curious at first, but when the fog rose at night, she looked a little nervous. Calm down. Nothing will happen. What's more, even if anything happens, you can escape immediately, can't you? Hinata understood what Tsubai was referring to. It was a little embarrassing for a while. Another embarrassment in front of Mr. Tsubai. Hinata thought shyly. I don't know where to put my rubbing hands. But overall she was in a very good mood. After gaining strength, Hinata proceeded to the training controlled by chakra. The precious power gained must not be wasted. Her behavior was praised by Tsubai. It caused me to feel a little happy in my heart. Of course, what shocked Hinata even more was the issue of the home pass. She never thought that she would be able to receive such an honor. Although the lower abdomen was engraved with strange marks, Hinata didn't think too far ahead. I also think that the small black mark is very beautifully engraved. Just like the Konoha village Anbu ninjas, they all have logos engraved on their arms proving they served as Anbu. If Tsubai knew what Hinata was thinking, he would definitely be stunned. Can this be the same? People's Anbu is printed on the arm. Yours is printed in a more beautiful place. By the way, Mr. Tsubai, you said that the place we are going this time is a place where rich people gather. Is there any special training there? In order to avoid embarrassment, Hinata changed the topic. It's just that she was really excited and wanted to know in advance where Tsubai was going to take her. The isolated island that isn't even marked on the map is within the territory of the Land of Thunder. It belongs to the place where rich people hang out. There are all sorts of lavish entertainment venues and of course their favorite things. Casino. Hinata, who was listening carefully, tilted her head, and encountered something she didn't understand very well. Are we going to gamble? The more Hinata listened, the more confused she became. With doubts, she waited seriously for Tsubai's answer. Is there a relationship between gambling and special training? Hinata simply can't bring the two together. Surprisingly, Tsubai nodded, and then said, it's just that what they bet on is not what you imagined. The chips are the ninjas they raised in captivity. Battle with ninjas. Commonly known as the arena. Tsubai's explanation obviously hit Hinata hard. Gambling against ninjas is chips. This is completely beyond Hinata's understanding of the ninja world and ninjas. In her mind, ninjas are like what third Hokage said. In order to protect the village, to protect the family, for this love, infinite power will flow out, even if you sacrifice yourself. This spirit is called the will of fire, and it is also the essence of ninja that Hinata believes in. However, this kind of captive ninja used for fighting and gambling is completely to subvert her cognition. She couldn't accept it at all. Seeing Hinata still in shock, Tsubai smiled faintly. You don't need to show that face. The living environment is different, so naturally there will be different understandings. What you understand is not wrong. The ninja world is huge, but you only see Konoha village. Moreover, there will be heretics in every era, and the general justice methods used to deal with these people are useless. So you're going to need some extreme ways of dealing with it, and people who can deal with it. You don't need to know this. In the future, you still have to go your own way according to your own thoughts and ideas. Tsubai told Hinata a little about it. He didn't want Hinata to be exposed to things that she didn't need to think about. The original Hinata was fine, it just lacked some confidence. And these darker things will naturally be handled by those who have this kind of means. After listening to Tsubai's explanation, as expected, Hinata didn't know what he was talking about. But this does not prevent Hinata from looking at Tsubai with adoring eyes. As expected of Shiroyasha, you really know too many things. The moonlight shines on Tsubai's face through the mist. After Hinata quietly stared at Tsubai's profile for a few seconds, Tsubai's voice woke her up. At that time, I will arrange for you to fight against a ninja. Remember not to be careless, most of the captive ninjas in the arena are just like you. Belongs to ninjas who have blood succession limits. Remember one sentence, try your best to win the game, even if you kill the opponent, it doesn't matter. Chapter 25. The Blood Pool Clan, Yuucheng Yan. Picture. Let me explain, this bounty is not linked to the task level at all, and the amount of the bounty is not determined according to the strength. It depends entirely on how much the person who is offering the bounty is willing to pay, and the regular ninja has never said to catch the bounty for the bounty, they just chose to accept or not to accept the task according to the client's narration. Close black lens bracket. Tsubai landed on the isolated island with Hinata. Came in front of a huge mountain range. Mr. Tsubai, who are those people? Hinata is weird. Why is there a group of guards gathered at the entrance of the cave? Just some unorganized ninjas. Tsubai shrugged and pulled the cloak of Hinata's robe over her head. Okay, let's go. 10 meters away from the entrance of the cave, the group of guard ninjas turned their attention to Tsubai and the two of them. Who are you? Because of the cloak on his head and the fact that it was getting late. The other party couldn't check the appearance of Tsubai and Hinata at all. When they asked, Tsubai didn't care, and still walked forward with Hinata. A few meters further away, Tsubai stopped and threw a passport-like pass to the opponent. The other party took the sign and glanced at it, his eyes trembled suddenly. It's Kotaro-sama. Kotaro. Could it be that Miyashiro Yan-sama has always maintained a hand of victory in all battles? Don't talk nonsense, be careful, Kotaro-sama and Miyashiro Yan-sama are good friends now. Due to the excessive surprise, several people talked involuntarily. After reacting, he immediately smiled and said, Miyashiro Yan-sama informed us before that he has been waiting for you for a long time. Please come in. Tsubai didn't pay attention to the discussion of several people, seeing them make way, he took Hinata and walked towards the cave. Just because he doesn't care doesn't mean Hyuga Hinata isn't curious. She raised her small head to look at Tsubai, and asked suspiciously, Mr. Tsubai, who is Kotaro? A false name that was used before. Hinata's pretty face trembled slightly upon hearing this. Could it be that the person they say is the one who keeps winning all the time in the arena? Is that Mr. Tsubai you? Tsubai didn't hide anything, and nodded. Immediately memories came to mind. He smiled and said, I used to come here to play for a while when I was bored. Because I don't have a reasonable identity, I chose to cooperate with Oyaho Yan and use a pseudonym to become a so-called hand card. That's great. As expected of Shiroyashi-sama. Hyuga Hinata has never seen a person who came to such a place because of boredom. After awe-inspiring, my heart became even more nervous. Just now Mr. Tsubai said that most of these ninjas are blood follower limit users. Aren't they all powerful? Feel Hinata's tension. Tsubai took her little hand. This time, Hinata didn't dodge, a shyness flashed across her face in the dark cave. Most of these ninjas are sold to rich people. Many places in the ninja world are not like your Konoha village. It's like the country of water, which is as famous as your country of fire. In other villages in the land of water, there are many ordinary people who are very panicked when they see blood successor limit. They thought it was a different existence from them, and was defined as a different kind. It's normal to crowd out and even kill people. Of course, many of them have been sold here. Although there are blood successors, they have no formal cultivation, and they are also very weak. So if you can't win, don't eat after you go back, just face the wall and think about your mistakes. Forehead. Still as strict as ever. Just when Hinata was still thinking about what opponent he was going to face. A faint light came from the entrance of the cave. When the two walked out of the cave, the scene in front of them was even more shocking. Hinata was dumbfounded. Luxurious street houses. The lights are brilliant and colorful. There is still such a glamorous venue in the cave. What shocked Hinata even more? At the end of the road, a huge arena stands impressively in the middle. If the prediction is good, there is the so-called arena. Looking at the street with people coming and going, Hinata couldn't get over the shock at all. All of them were dressed brightly. Especially women, even when they are old, they still dress very fashionable. Everyone wears a gold necklace or a pearl necklace around their necks, and the gemstone rings on their fingers are also particularly conspicuous. Hinata looked dazzled. This is more powerful than many of the big shots she has seen come to Konoha village in sedan chairs to deliver commissions. Let's go, we're going to find that old fox of Oyaho Yan. Look at Hinata's ignorant look. Su-bai smiled. Pull her and walk towards the arena. Chapter 26. Su-bai. I killed Hinata in the street. The white eyes were picked out and crushed. Under the leadership of several staff members, Su-bai and Hinata enter the room. As soon as he stepped into the room and closed the door, Oyaho-en wearing sunglasses rushed towards Su-bai. Oh, dear Lord White Yaksha, we really haven't seen each other for a long time. But at the same time that Oyaho-yan rushed forward, Hinata hasn't figured it out yet. The black knife in Su-bai's hand was already on Oyajoyan's neck. What happened here? Hinata stared at the two people who were at war with swords, in a dazed manner, and was stunned. Ah, long time no see, Bayasha is still so unreasonable. Miyashiro Yan said with a sneer. He didn't care, then turned his head to the sofa and sat down. That's not true. I just don't like people who can abuse their own daughters. Su-bai also shrugged, walked slowly towards the sofa, and sat opposite to Oyaho Yan. Even his own daughter is going to be abused. Hyuga Hinata suddenly thinks of her strict father, Hyuga Hiyashi. Is the other party as strict as his father? But Hinata never blamed Hiyashi, she thought maybe it was because of her lack of strength. That's why I am so eager to grow. Could it be? But before Hinata finished thinking about it, Oyaho Yan laughed, so she ran away with the typhoon-style ninja I won back a few years ago. Su-bai showed a trace of disdain when he heard the words. Oyaho Yan is the only survivor of the Blood Pool clan so far. Their family used to serve the Kingdom of Thunder. Shueiji boundary blood Longan possesses powerful illusion and the ability to control human blood. The most terrifying thing is that this family can turn people into human bombs by creating wounds on those people. But a long time ago, their family was dispatched to Jigoku Valley by the daimyo of the Country of Thunder, and paid for the Uchiha family to be imprisoned and guarded. That's right, the Thunder Country daimyo hired the Uchiha clan to guard the Blood Pool clan who can fight against him. The long life in Hell Valley caused civil strife in their family, and Oyaho Yan's wife died because of this internal strife. So this guy killed the whole family. He didn't recognize the daughter who was left behind, and even let his daughter become his own hand to compete in the arena. Ha ha. Let's not talk about that. You told me before that you want to bring a ninja from the blood succession limit. I guess it's her. Oyaho Yan pointed to Hinata behind Su-bai. After looking up and down, he said, what kind of blood successor limit? Ah, this. Who is this? Why is it so ugly to speak? Hinata's small face under the cloak was swollen, and he sneered at Oyaho Yan in his heart. Your speech is still as ugly as ever. Su-bai put down the teacup in his hand, while Hinata behind him jumped with joy. That's right, this guy's words are really ugly. Oh, is there a problem? Isn't that the same thing as blood succession boundary? For those who consider themselves ordinary, this special ability simply represents terror. It is a sin to be born. But I like blood succession boundary very much. Miyashiroyan narrowed his eyes and laughed. Think about it, it's powerful and rare, isn't that great? That's why I searched everywhere and put them in my guard group. But at this point, Yu Cheng Yan's conversation suddenly changed, and he said gloomily, however, I also kept only one in order to increase the rarity. Kill all the rest, hee. Oyaho Yan seemed to be schizophrenic. He smiled, his expression became serious after a daze. Speaking of it, Shiroyasha. It's a pity that the girl from the Hyuga clan you killed earlier was real. Bayan is still a good blood succession limit. But I didn't expect you to find another one from other places. The ugly thing is before, I arranged for you to play against my hand. If you lose, this blood follower limit ninja will be mine. although Oyahoyan didn't see clearly who Hinata was wearing the cloak. But since Shirayasha didn't even pay attention to Bayan, the blood successor limit ninja he found must be more rare and powerful than Bayan. For those who like to collect blood succession boundaries, Yu Wucheng was so greedy that he drooled a little. But what he said made Su Bai a little confused. What did you say? Seeing that Su Bai's face was gloomy for an instant, Miyashiroyan's body froze and he was startled. Hey, isn't he just a ninja who inherits the limit of blood? As for being so serious, I'm not talking about the rules here, I'm talking about what did you say I killed? The girl of the Hyuga clan is the Hyuga clan in Konoha village, the one with white eyes. He looked at Su Bai with a dazed look on his face. Oyajoyan was also a little sluggish. Didn't you torture and kill a Hyuga girl in a black market somewhere in the land of fire? The white eyes were picked out and crushed. At this point, Miyaho-yan held up his teacup and glanced at Su Bai with a smile, but it's you. The practice is really cruel enough, even I have never done such a cruel thing. Chapter 27. The Targeted Shimura Danzo. From the stands in the auditorium, Su Bai and Miyashiro-yan watched Hyuga Hinata and Kaide fighting below. Maple is the powerful hand of Oyaho-yan, a user of blood successor boundary boil style. Boil style Chowu technique. Looking at the mist sprayed from Feng's mouth, Su Bai recognized this ninjutsu at a glance. Combining the water attribute and the fire attribute chakra, and spraying a powerful corrosive acid mist from the mouth, the caster can control the acidity of the clever mist by adjusting the amount of chakra. According to the strength of Terumi Mei in the future, the acid mist from her mouth can even melt Uchiha Sasuke's Susanoo. But Feng's clever fog technique is really hip pull in Su Bai's eyes. The fog range is small, and the acidity doesn't seem to be particularly strong. As Hyuga Hinata dodged, the robe on his body was slightly stained. It's just that the speed of melting the robe is still quite slow. Bai Yasha, you seem to be plotted against. Watching Hinata's performance, Oyaho-yan smiled slightly and came to Su Bai's side. Have it. Su Bai was still watching the arena, and the audience cheered endlessly. Then why not? Obviously you didn't do something, but someone pretended to be you and Hyuga Hinata, which caused you to bear another 500 million reward. I'm afraid that even those smart people will be ready to move after seeing you now. Indeed, flies are more annoying. Only then did Su Bai look at Oyajoyan, showing a slight smile. Fighting fierce dogs can also exercise the muscles and bones. At least fighting monkeys is fun. If it's just flies, the buzzing is indeed a bit disturbing. Do you have any ideas? Oyajoyan was very curious about what Su Bai should do next. The bounty of 300 million taels may be very enviable. But there are also those who are afraid of death and dare not do it. But with a bounty of 800 million taels, those who are afraid of death may have to use their brains. But it's a miracle that you're still alive. Oyaho-yan suddenly laughed, and then added, if it weren't for my illusion, it would be useless to you. I really want to take you into my hand and continue to help me fight. Su Bai. I was really speechless by the neurosis in front of me. Are all the cards in your hand controlled by illusion? There was sarcasm in Su Bai's words, and Mawuchengen could naturally hear that it was an irony, but he didn't care at all. Of course not, they just need to adjust a little bit, and they are still a lot worse for me. It's not like you. Of course, if you want, you can continue to hang out with me, and you don't have to worry about the bounty anymore. Look at the president of Muwei Company, you can also enjoy his kind of treatment. Miyashiroyan said earnestly, and even took off his sunglasses to reveal his sincere eyes. By the way, add a little coercion. Su Bai, president of Makio, still knows that an old man in his 40s or 50s sits in the VIP seat every day. Drinking red wine, there are usually 5 or 6 young women serving by your side. There is also Ms. Ji Baihei, the chairman of Ji Baihei Company, who is opposite him. She looks very old and looks like Ms. Udatane Kaharu, a consultant from Konoha village. However, Ji Baihei Shengxi's makeup looks a little bit better than Udatane Kaharu's skin. There should also be a few handsome young men in suits and leather shoes beside them. And you should also be clear that even if your identity is exposed in this kind of place, it will not be passed on to the outside world. When you asked the host to introduce Hinata just now, you directly and completely revealed her identity, which is useless to outside rumors. Oyaho Yan wanted to continue to say something, but was patted on the shoulder by Su-bai. I don't want to bully children here with a mask on. Su-bai smiled, recalling the time when he wore a mask and used Kotaro's name. It was quite interesting at the time, but Su-bai feels that he has found something more interesting now. Shimura Danzo. Su-bai can think of the person who plays a bad show with his toes. Who else could it be if not Danzo? However, at this moment, Hinata in the ring seized the opportunity and hit Feng in the stomach with an 8 trigrams air palm. The powerful thrust directly knocked the opponent out of the ring. Oh! Out of bounds. It's unbelievable that Hyuga Hinata, who is playing for the first time, has such an amazing performance. The winner is Hyuga Hinata. The host's loud voice sounded. People around also burst into applause. As expected of someone who came out of a regular ninja village, I am convinced that I lost. Feng, who was knocked out of bounds, stood up and looked at Hinata indifferently. This look can't help but make Hinata's heart tremble slightly. This look is very much like a person. It's just that the person's eyes are more disdainful towards Hinata. Chapter 28. Hinata. Udon and Hasho 39, T want me anymore. In home space. After Hinata practiced, she soaked in the hot spring pool. I have to say that Hinata feels very comfortable in the small courtyard of Su-bai. It is really enjoyable to be able to soak in the warm hot spring directly after the practice. It's just that within the past few days after returning, Hinata can't forget that sentence. As expected of a ninja born in a regular ninja village. That person's indifferent eyes always reminded Hinata of Hyuga Neji. In Hinata's memories, Neji was 4 when she was 3. When the two first met, Neji was so gentle and had a smile on his face that Hinata felt very comfortable. But then Neji, it feels like the whole person has changed. While Hinata was still thinking, there was a noise outside. Well, Mr. Su-bai is back. Hinata soaked her whole body in the pool, only showing the upper half of her face. There was one more thing that bothered her a little. I don't know that villain actually slandered Mr. Su-bai. Gouged out her eyes in the street and tortured her to death. HMPH. What a nasty fellow. Bored guy. Little Hinata didn't know who did it, but this was the first time she felt so disgusted with someone. Just remembering the joke Su-bai made with her made Hinata feel even worse. Hinata, maybe by now you Hyuga clan have your picture on the wall. When Hinata came out of the bath, she happened to see Su-bai sitting on the sofa, as if waiting for her. I'm going to make lunch now. Hinata sneered. But unexpectedly, Su-bai said, it's not necessary this time. Su-bai, who just came back from the outside, received news about Dasna. Sure enough, the old man went to Konoha village. What surprised Su-bai was that Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't ground Uzumaki Naruto because of him. But when you think about it, it is true that all the villages are trying the practice of Jinchuriki. Their Jinchuriki from Konoha village, like Tai Hanhan, catches dogs and cats in the village every day. According to reports from people who were staying on the black market, Dasna and the others left Konoha village not long after. Several more people with masks and short swords appeared. Always follow behind them. There's no need to cook this time, let's go out to eat. Go out to eat. Hinata was puzzled. I have never eaten out before, so why do I suddenly have to eat out today? We may need to live outside in the last few days, so you should clean up. Su-bai stood up, opened the portal, and suddenly remembered something. Oh. By the way, you seem to have nothing to clean up. Let's go. Hinata. What he said was true, but he didn't bring anything with him when he was arrested. It's just that Hinata has forgotten that Su-bai is going to put her back in Konoha village. It's a pity that Hinata, who was out, suddenly felt that things were getting more and more wrong. She even felt that Su-bai's brain seemed to be broken today. I usually feel that Su-bai is a very smart person, what is wrong with him today? Mr. Subai. Hinata asked weakly. Since Subai is very strange today, she doesn't dare to provoke him. We can't, let's go home first. No, just eat outside. Looking at Subai's cold look, Hinata hesitated to speak. But people on the street are scared away when they see you. Hyuga Hinata actually knew something about Subai. Due to the reward amount, most of him only appeared on the black market. It is rare to go to this normal village street. Even if you come, you need to pretend. But today is different, just walk on the street openly. It was nothing at first, but someone in the crowd shouted, "Look, White Yasha." Suddenly, the bustling streets became quiet. Everyone stopped and stared at Subai for a long time, then suddenly screamed, "It really is by Yasha. Run, 800 million tales of bounty criminals have appeared. Help." Even children cried out in fright. Soon, the originally lively street became deserted. Hey, Mr. Subai, there are still people there. Hinata looked left and right for a long time, and finally found that there seemed to be a figure flickering in front of a shop not far away. Let's go and have a look. Subai nodded. It's just that the two of them hadn't waited to leave when the shop owner packed a small bag and came out with his things in his arms. Seeing that the two were approaching. Regardless of that, he dropped the package in his hand and ran away. Hinata. Konoha village on the other side. In Hokage's office. With a bong in his mouth, Sarutobi Hiruzen was flipping through the ninja information sheets that had landed in the last year or two. Yuhihong was waiting in the office. Hey. It's really difficult to find a good ninja to make up the original reconnaissance specialization class. Sarutobi Hiruzen's old face flushed. At the beginning, I promised Shihahong to choose a suitable person to join their class. But according to the style of the special investigation team he appointed at the beginning, this person is really not a particularly good choice. If the members of the Hyuga family are removed from other teammates, the configuration of other teammates will be destroyed. It is not very suitable to find older ones, and the young ones are not up to the graduation standard. The older ones are almost the worst shunin. For a while, Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a dilemma. Master Third Hokage, you. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen's appearance, Yuhihong knew that today was a dead end. In the past few days, Yuhihong has always been in Hokage's office. Although he didn't say it, the actual action was to tell Sarutobi Hiruzen to make a 3-person team for her as soon as possible. Otherwise, Aburame Shino and Inuzuka teeth will almost grow hair at home. Why? White Yaksha, that hateful fellow. Sarutobi Hiruzen saw Yuhiruzen's face gradually turning ugly, and cursed Vice Admiral Subai up and down in his heart. However, at this time, hurried footsteps came from the corridor of the Hokage building. Who doesn't catch eyes like that, is sprinting in the corridor at this time, come in later to see if I don't teach him a lesson. Sarutobi Hiruzen muttered in his heart. At the same time, the door of Hokage's office was slammed open. What's so? The old monkey just wanted to show his power, but the other party seemed to speak faster than him. Master Third Hokage, Shiroyasha has appeared. Chapter 29. Dawn and Hash 039. T-Talk, listen to me, I understand. Swish swish swish. There were several sounds of brushing past flowers and plants in the woods. Senior read. Is Shiroyasha really immune to illusion? Konoha Anbu, wearing a mask and carrying a short sword on his back, curiously asked Kurenai Yuhi who was galloping beside him. Her purple hair stood out. If Subai was present, he would be able to recognize this person at a glance. Captain of Konoha Village Anbu Unit. Mao Yushian. To be honest, I'm not particularly clear. It's just that I thought he had fallen into my illusion at the beginning. But at the moment of the shot, that guy broke free from the illusion. Yu Hahong recalled the fight with Subai back then. There was a murmur in my heart. If Bai Yasha was really immune to illusions, then he was teasing himself back then. The more she thought about Yuhihong, the more angry she became. Anyway, it seems that the information given by Lord Danzo at that time was wrong. Miss Hinata should still be alive. Mr. Lu Ju's original analysis may be true. At this time, a white-eyed ninja from the Hyuga family also followed up. When I heard the messenger say that Tsubai was accompanied by a girl with strange-looking white eyes, Hyuga Hiyashi was so excited that he almost lost his breath. Huoman, let's continue to speed up the pace. Yuhihong bit her lower lip lightly, speeding up instantly. Seeing this, Azuki Shion waved her fair arm. The dozens of Anbu members behind them also picked up their speed. We have to speed up, too. Miss Hinata, you have to hold on. Hyuga Fire Gate, Hyuga Takashi, and Hyuga Tokuma. The three also quickened their pace. In the room, Hyuga Hinata's hungry stomach growled. Tsubai didn't speak, and she didn't dare to talk to her. Originally, I wanted to use the ingredients from the shop owner's house to cook, but Tsubai stopped me. There was a little grievance on Hinata's small face. These days are simply tormenting. You can do anything, but don't refuse to feed others. It was getting dark outside. A little anxiety appeared on Tsubai's face. Do people in Konoha village eat dry rice? Haven't you sent anyone yet? Tsubai complained in his heart. He specifically selected a village closest to Konoha village. But still waiting until now. Hyuga Hinata's hungry head shrugged. After returning home, it is their Konoha village's own business to be hungry. Tsubai had considered before that instead of sending Hinata back by himself, it would be better for the people of Konoha village to rescue him. At least this way can reduce some of their doubts. Don't interrogate too much at that time, and then make little Hinata stupid. That's really a big loss. After all, there are only 2 years left before Hinata can grow up to be able to. No matter what time, I still think about such a wonderful thing. Hyuga Hinata naturally didn't know what Tsubai's plan was, and he was already dejected because of his hunger. However, at this moment, a slight commotion outside the house caught Tsubai's attention. Although Tsubai doesn't have strong perception ability. However, long-term experience has created a certain conditioned reflex for him to change in the surrounding environment. Finally come. Hearing slight noises on the roof, outside the door, and along the walls. Tsubai's heart is also at ease. A lot of people came. Presumably the ninjas of Konoha village. And in terms of feeling, I have been surrounded. All the Konoha village ninjas coming to the rescue are ready. Azuki Shion lightly waved her fingers. Among the members of Anbu, the members of the Nara family have used shadow imitation. Slowly slipped into the room through the gap in the wall. The Hyuga trio stood in 3 directions, while staring at everything in the house with their white eyes. Oh, shadow imitation. He squinted at the black shadow that had come to his feet. Tsubai pretended not to see it at all, and continued to stare at Hinata in front of him. See, shadow mimicry is about to succeed. The Hyuga trio gave orders at the same time. Yuhihong standing at the door took the lead. The Anbu personnel on both sides of the wall have also completed printing. Fire-style Haoyan technique. Haoyan technique is a fire-style secret technique passed down from generation to generation by the Sarutobi family. The fire was intense. Boom. 2 loud bangs sounded at the same time. The walls on both sides of the house burst instantly. 2 intense flames struck Tsubai from left and right. Facing the sudden change, Hyuga Hinata raised his head abruptly. Before I could see clearly what was going on, I felt myself being hugged. When you react, Hinata found himself outside the house. The house where Tsubai was originally staying with was already in flames. Hinata. Just as Hinata pointed to the room where Tsubai was staying. Yuhihong grabbed her arm. Red. Teacher Hong. Hinata was dumbfounded. She never expected that the person who appeared in front of her was Yuhihong. Hinata, you have suffered. After finally confirming that Hinata was still alive, Kuroyuki was so excited that tears welled up in her eyes. Teacher Red. Hinata was stunned for a few breaths, and immediately looked at the house again. Looking at the flustered Hyuga Hinata, Yuhihong naturally knew that Tsubai had frightened her. But it doesn't matter, it will get better after returning to Konoha village. Especially when I think of what Hinata has suffered recently. Hong felt even more uncomfortable. She quickly hugged Hinata in her arms. He touched Hinata's head and said softly, "I know Subai made you suffer. But it's okay, it's all right now." Hinata. What are you talking about? Why do I not understand at all? Chapter 30. You kidnapped my assistant and need someone to take her place. The raging fire was reflected in Hinata's eyes. What happened at this moment made her speechless in shock. Mingming was sitting with Mr. Subai just now. Did not expect. How's it going? Azuki Shien's indifferent voice reached Hinata's ears. She heard the sound and looked. Only then did I find out. The people besieging the house are all masked ninjas. They are easily identified by the clearly visible red marks on their arms. Konoha Village Anbu. The appearance of the Anbu ninja made Hinata's eyes tremble slightly, revealing a little fear. Even Subai used to be undefeated in the arena, but this is the Anbu ninja of Konoha Village. Little Hinata's heart sank, and his mind buzzed. Then he lost consciousness. Not good. White Yasha is not dead. Hyuga Tokuma sees very clearly with his supercilious eyes. Subai slowly got up amidst the raging fire. The powerful chakra erupting from his body was like a barrier, blowing away all the surrounding flames. The black shadow that originally controlled his shadow imitation technique also directly snapped off with chakra's explosion. He's coming out, everyone be careful. Hyuga roared. All Anbu members put their hands on the short sword behind them. Tokuma, Huoman, Shao. The three of you quickly leave with Senior Red, and leave the rest to Anbu. Azuki Shien let out a loud shout. Issued an order. Clear. Clear. Heart-turning technique. At this time, an Anbu wearing a frog-like mask quickly completed the seal. The target was Subai, who was walking out from the house. Boom. It's a pity that Anbu, code-named Shing, was blown away on the spot just after the ninjutsu was performed. Clear. Shien was taken aback when she saw this. But it soon returned to normal. A little cold sweat subconsciously broke out from the palm of her grip on the handle of the knife. I sighed in my heart. It seems that the chakra in Subai's body is too strong. Haru, who belongs to the Yamanaka clan, cannot control him mentally. Senior Red, let's retreat quickly. At this time, the trio of Hyuga has come to Hong's side. Looking at the Anbu members who flew out against Junjun, they said in a panic, it will be troublesome if Shiro Yasha succeeds. However, at this moment, the earth trembled. 4 rock pillars rise from the ground and surround the whole house. Lightning-style 4-post bondage. Anbu members just finished speaking. The 4 rocks Hashirama immediately released a thunderstorm like a storm. Zzz. Boom. Thunder and lightning sizzled. A few seconds later, a huge explosion occurred. In an instant, the house that was still burning with raging flames was blown to pieces. It seems that the Anbu personnel want to completely eliminate Shirayasha. Hong closed her eyes. He also understood the mission of Azuki Shien and others in his heart. And Kurenai Yuhi's idea is to save Hinata. That being the case, it doesn't make any sense for her to stay here. Withdraw. Sunset Hong gave a soft drink. Swish. She hugged Hinata and disappeared in place. Disappearing with them are the Hyuga trio. Finished. Azuki Shien looked at the thick smoke vigilantly, and asked in a slightly anxious voice. In Anbu. There is still one member of the Hyuga family left. He stared fixedly at the direction of the thick smoke. The lightning storm of chakra from lightning style just now slightly affected his vision. After watching for a long time, this Hyuga Anbu replied, I can't see anyone anymore, I think it was blown to pieces. Close the team. After reconfirming the result, Azuki Shien let go of the grip on the handle of the knife. Just about to turn around and leave. But I heard a laugh from the opposite house. What is smashed to pieces? Can I take it home to make soup? Shi Yan. Heart terrified. Everyone turned their heads to look, only to see that Subai was sitting leaning on the roof at this time. He rested his chin on one hand and looked at them with interest. Sure enough, he didn't die. At this time, Azuki Shion remembered the information about Tsubai that Sarutobi Hiruzen had told them a long time ago. Space-time ninjutsu. If used properly, it can completely avoid attacks that can cause fatal damage. Did you use space-time ninjutsu to avoid the lightning-style attack just now? Hyuga Anbu let out a cry. No wonder I didn't see the clue just now. For Tsubai, this kind of attack can be dodged only by the speed of physical skills. It's just that he doesn't need to answer the other party's doubts. Stand up slowly. Tsubai stared at Konoha village Anbu below and said, "You hijacked my butler assistant. Then leave someone to replace her. Hateful white yaksha." With the help of the moonlight, Azuki Shion stared at Tsubai for a while. This guy actually captured Miss Konoha village Hyuga as a housekeeper assistant. Totally looked down on them Konoha village. As a Konoha shinobi, how can one let his own village be slandered? It's just nonsense. Everyone go together. Maoyu Shion gave an order. Swish swish swish. All Anbu members collectively pulled out the short sword on their backs. Slash at Tsubai who was standing on the roof.